That would be so fantastic. Oh man, what's happening? What's up, everybody? Tony, y'all don't even see me talking yet because the fucking commercials running. No one's gonna see this except the people who watch later. There you are. Hi, everybody. Bars Day, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Warren, what's happening, dog? Ramsey. I don't know. Did it? Oh, they are. Yeah. I was actually messing around. I didn't know what that did. I was messing around with that. It says brand color. I just wanted to. I guess now I know what it did because I was messing around with it and it didn't change anything. And okay, now I see what it did. So if I go back, did it go back to black? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. That's all it changes, is it just changes that one little color. KC.
Yep. Damn. What's good? What's good? Don is dope in the building, man. What's good with my guy? Tyler Jennings in the house. What's good with my guy? It's a beautiful Monday. It's a beautiful Monday. One of the great Mondays of 2022. Everybody happy today. Oh, damn. Hold on. I got this light on. Hold on.
Man, Donnie working too. I got projects for Don, man. I got ideas. I got ideas for my man.
Oh, damn.
Sorry, Andrew. Sorry, Warren.
Oh, I saw a few just tweets yesterday from my Raider fan homies talking about, yeah, car's not it. Car's not it. We need to be done with this.
I am unwilling to fight that battle anymore. I've retired from that. Cold.
Oh. It's always something. Who, me? No. My personal setup. Oh man.
Johnny G. I don't think it's anybody in the chatty house doing that. I think Sarah gets bombarded for that stuff.
Yo, that was a crazy.
She told me about that at the game. She was like, I got to tell you about my next reel I'm making. Like, oh, man, that's cold. Same thing. What it do, baby? Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Everybody come on in. Almost everybody's happy today.
Almost.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Sorry about that, Raider fan. Welcome into a 49ers Monday brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore, and you get more with Christian McCaffrey. We'll get to that historic performance. And another 49ers win against the Los Angeles Rams. We'll talk about what that means for the 49ers season moving forward as they head into the bye week. Man, lots of stuff to dissect from the 49ers there. We'll talk about that disaster that was the Las Vegas Raiders, everything that went on in this week in the NFL. But we will start first. It's game day. Not only is it game day, but shoot, y'all, we're your countdown show to Kings basketballs. They got a 4:00 start. You could just hang with us, flip the radio off, go watch Kings on television.
That's all you got to do. First and foremost, Damien, they don't know who we are or who's here.
Oh, I just assumed I'm egotistical enough to believe everybody knew. I'm Damian Barling.
Acknowledge me.
He's Kenny Caraway.
Yes, sir.
Acknowledge me.
That's cooked. He got cooked.
Adrian, you didn't go down like that, huh?
He got cooked.
Really did forget that part. Didn't forget Drake bars, though. First round, the first single is dropping.
The first single.
18 minutes, the first single of 2022-2023 is dropping. Drake bars on the way because, yes, it is a game day. The Kings are in Charlotte tonight, but they got their first win Saturday afternoon at the Golden One Center against the Miami Heat. Go let them air horns fly.
Hey,
he's got to win. Let's go now.
He's got to win. You know what it is.
I'm on a game.
Here we go.
119-113. There's a lot to talk about from this game on Saturday. I feel we've got to start with that fourth quarter performance from De'Aaron Fox, though. There's a lot that led to that fourth quarter performance from De'Aaron Fox. You know, I watched the game back this morning because we had this show prepared last night, and let's watch this joint back. And I was thinking of you this morning because you like to, you often break games down into segments.
Yeah.
And you'll point out, you did this with the Warriors, like, oh, it was really just this really bad stretch, the first like 4 minutes, and then the final 3.5 minutes before halftime. Other than that, they pulled even, they played relatively even basketball, and then they blew, they played really well in the fourth quarter. It was the Kings. I kept thinking, man, they blew that lead. That's just brutal. They had that phenomenal first half, and they did. They had a really good first half.
Yeah,
but it was like a 5-6 minute stretch at the end of the half that really, really opened things up. It was like they had played well. They were playing really, really well in the first half, but that final like 5.5-6 minutes that really opened things up for them.
Absolutely.
And it was that's what took them to I think they got as high as 22 or something like that. That's where that lead started to build up.
Yeah, no, it was one of those things where you listening to the broadcast, and I think Katie mentioned it, and it was probably like a 9-point game or so, maybe 10 or 11. And she's like, yeah, I would, with about 2 minutes to go. And she's like, I'd like to see them maybe get it to 15 right here, to give them a little breather, give them a little cushion. Going into the half, she was spot on. They end up getting it to 20.
It was a 21-6 run.
Yeah, and that's the way you close out a half. That's the way you close, especially when you have a lead like that. I don't care if you're going up against the Heat or whatever other team that you think of. When you have an opportunity at the end of the half to extend that lead from a 12 to a 17, from a 10 to a 16 or something like that, you got to do it. And they did it on Saturday afternoon. And I'm not gonna say it won them the game, but that helped a lot. That helped a lot, being able to take that from, like I said, I think it was like 9 or 10, and be able to take that to 20 going into the half.
Yeah, and we'll get to why the game got close. We'll break down a lot of this game, and we'll talk about things that we hope they carry over into this afternoon for us against Charlotte. But the fourth quarter comes along. Everybody knows it's a significantly closer game. The dreadful third quarter, the Sacramento Kings third quarter reemerged. reemerged, popped out of the grave like the Undertaker at the original original Buried Alive match, and to me, I mean, Kevin Huerter was great. We'll get to the ridiculousness that surrounded Domantas Sabonis on Saturday. But to me, it felt like De'Aaron Fox was the reason that the Kings were able to come away with a win in that game.
Man, he was phenomenal in that fourth quarter. Absolutely phenomenal. Obviously, he made some good moves on the defensive end, did some things on the defensive end to kind of spearhead everything. But the defense on Tyler Hero, shutting off his water the way because my boy, and that's my boy, I like Tyler Hero. He was cooking. Tyler Hero was cooking. He was primed and ready for a Sacramento takeover to kind of send everybody home upset and frustrated.
Sounds like a new drink.
Sounds
like a new drink. The Sacramento takeover.
Sacramento takeover. I like that. I don't know. Like,
I don't know when we use it. Yeah, I don't know when we make it or what it's made of. But that's it. We got the Sacramento Splash and the Sacramento takeover
when they clinch a playoff berth. Takeover because we just gonna be lit.
Okay, let's come up with something. Maybe, I was thinking more like when they went on the road or something. Like that's all right.
I don't want nobody just hung over and taking over at that point. It has to be for a major occasion.
All right, we'll figure out the ingredients later. But to your point, I think he had like 15.
Yeah, he was cooking.
Yeah, he was crushing.
He was absolutely cooking. I don't know if it was Mike Brown. I don't know if it was De'Aaron Fox going to Mike Brown or whatever the case may be, but he got on Tyler Hero and he shut the water off. Absolutely shut the water off and got a block of Tyler Hero, caused the offensive foul, forced a couple of bad shots. And that was where the game changed. I will say this, De'Aaron Fox won them that game with the way he played on the defensive end. Because like I said, Tyler Hero was ready to take over and he stopped that immediately. And this is what a lot of people talk about when they think about De'Aaron Fox. Jason Jones comes on here and says he has the opportunity to be an all-league defender. He has that capability. James Ham has talked about it as well. I think he has great defensive instincts. And while I don't expect him to do it over the course of 48 minutes, in the crunch, in a pinch, absolutely. I love to see this type of Fox in the fourth quarter to go along with his 17 points and 13 rebounds.
He did it all, man.
He balled, and it wasn't even like the prettiest. I think he was like 6 or 17 or something like that from the field. Missed some shots towards the end or whatever the case may be. But I thought he played phenomenal. I thought he was great. I thought he was a leader, a tone setter in that fourth quarter.
He did everything you'd want your best player to do in that game. And we often talk about if guys can't find ways to hit shots, if the shot's not falling for him. One, I don't think he lost his aggression.
No.
2, 5 for 5 from the foul line.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
Find ways to impact the game. And that's what De'Aaron Fox did. Shots not hitting, gonna stay aggressive, gonna look for it. But if it's not falling, I'm gonna find other ways to impact the game. Gets fouled, very rarely. Gets to the foul line, very rarely, and converts. Makes every single one of them count. Because that game, as that game got closer, every single one of those free throws mattered.
Yep.
Not just from De'Aaron, but from the Kings overall. Kings shot 72%. Still not great. At least they're out of the 60s, but I think De'Aaron, I think De'Aaron's 81% on the season right now.
Really?
I have that. I have that somewhere in the notes. I think he's 81%.
Wow.
On the season right now from the foul line.
Wow. And to me personally, there's no reason why you can't keep that up. There's no reason why you can't keep that up. Being 80, 78%, at the low end. There's no reason why he can't keep that up. He's worked on his game. He's worked on his shot. He should be able to knock down his free throws. He's doing it at a high clip right now. And it's a game changer for him. He's playing. I don't want to speak in hyperbole because he was great at the end of the last year after the Sabonis trade. He was great towards the end of the second COVID season, I think it was. But this is some of the best basketball he's ever played.
Oh, yeah.
What we've seen in this 5-game stretch to start the season. I think, if anything, for sure, it's the best he's ever started a season. I think we can say that definitively.
That's 100% accurate. This is the best start he's ever had to a season. He's up 9% on his career average right now, 81.8% from the line. His career average 72.6. 72.6.
I love it.
I know you do. That's why I pointed it out.
Yeah, I love it. I love seeing that from him. And he is being a leader and a catalyst. I mean, the guy's average is 7.2 rebounds a night. Where'd that come from? He's averaging 7.2 boards a night for this team to go along with 5.5 assists. 27, 7, and 5.5. And
most importantly, it led to a win for Sacramento. And I think, honestly, which was one of the best all-around performances of his career, and one of the best defensive performances of his career. And you heard, I think it was Keegan. I think Keegan Murray said it post-game, but they pointed out what we had been talking about following Thursday's loss was, each loss gets heavier and heavier. Like it's not just the loss, it's the weight of being winless.
Yeah.
And I think it was Keegan who acknowledged post-game, to get that first one, that's a big weight off our shoulders. We kind of, all right, we've got that. We've got the first one. Mike Brown got his first win as the Sacramento Kings head coach. I was thinking about Mike Brown's last 9 regular season games last week, where he's like 1-8, I think, if you count the Lakers, the ridiculous thing that happened with the Lakers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, get this brother a win, man. We've got to stop the bleeding here.
And you know what, Davion? We'll talk about it over the course of the next 3 hours and 45 minutes, but they got an opportunity tonight. They got an opportunity to kind of keep the momentum going. They got an opportunity to kind of help themselves stay above water a little bit. I'm not saying it's an easy game by any means. We all saw the Hornets beat the Warriors over the weekend. They got talent. They got talent, even though if they don't have LaMelo, whatever, they got talent. But this is an opportunity tonight, and I'm really anxious to see how they play tonight in this game against the Hornets.
So let's really dive into this thing a little bit. We'll come back. We'll talk about Sabonis, because Sabonis was brilliant in the time that the referees allowed him to play. Like he was brilliant. They just didn't allow him to play very much. I thought the Kings were brilliant in the paint too. We'll talk all about that. We've got the phone lines open for you. You know the drill. James Ham will be with us the final hour of the show. We're here with you all day. Yeah, there it is. 916-909-1320. The first single drop.
The first single.
Drake Barr is coming up here next on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. I think so.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, they just need a little spark. That's all. We trying. I think I came to a conclusion about that. I think old heads do say Sacktown. I don't think anybody my age or younger says Sacktown.
Yeah, I've never said it either.
Simple as that, Sack. The other thing that was funny, oh man, I'm forgetting exactly who it was. My apologies. It's my guy, man. I've met him before at a Kings game. Big follower of the show. But he's like threw something out there ironically. It was like, yeah, we don't call it Sacktown because we're basically the Bay Area. Like he was making a joke. Oh, the Bay Area people, you're not part of the Bay Area.
That's funny.
They were ready. Davion, when was the last time you dressed up for Halloween?
No idea. Absolutely no clue.
Yeah, mine was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. That DMX picture I posted. What the hell?
Man, Don, you see the Odyssey studio pieces Donnie just sent?
Yeah, I'm trying to. My phone keeps freezing.
Alika, AC/DC,
Ooh.
Ariana Grande.
Yo, these are crazy. Jesus. No, that was real.
I think that was real.
heat.
Yeah, I think that was real.
I don't think 2-Bit knew who he was.
Yeah.
I thought he was just a regular joker. But that was hilarious.
Yeah, that was funny. Diddy as the Joker was everywhere.
Oh, he won the weekend.
Also, what year is it? Why are you dressing like Heath Ledger? Like what? How long ago was that? I mean, he did it.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, that version of the Joker is always in style. That's an all-timer. Damn, Donnie killed these. These are crazy.
Yeah, these pictures that Donnie just sent us. They're not going to be like behind us in the studio. They're going to be all over our building. They're pretty dope, man.
I think these artists are going to want these at some point.
Yeah, probably. Well, that's too damn bad. I don't think Drake's going to be at our building, nor do I think Ariana Grande is going to be. AC/DC, I'm not so sure. Maybe they will. Yeah, Donnie, you got to let me know when you corporate Donnie when you get some free time, because I got a Basquiat idea. Sean P.
Fashion
what's
icon,
good,
buddy?
on here.
What's good?
Drake bars are next.
Yeah, man.
Bars are next, right after the commercial.
Oh,
I see Miss P got her De La Soul joint. Okay, DLoKC.com.
Shout out Miss P.
I think Miss P bought it without a discount too. Damn, Miss P. That's love. She's trying to make sure we live to fight another day. Yeah, I guess so.
That's baller status. We know she a baller too. Miss P's like LeBron. They asked LeBron one time, it's like, when's the last time you looked at a price tag? He's like, psh.
They said LeBron still got the free version of Spotify though.
I could believe
trying to work out with LeBron and commercials come on.
I could believe that. Said he's super frugal.
Spotify probably found out and was like, bro, just take here's the passcode. Yeah, that's Miss P right there.
That's right.
Oh,
it's lit.
Oh,
it's lit.
Can you imagine if Miss P and Trista were here at the same time? The frenzy that the Chatty House would go into.
Chatty House would go for
downtown
Miss P,
Sacramento would be
Trista,
sold out.
Sarah and Matt George, they go crazy.
Oh Lord. Oh man. We get Matt to undo a couple of them buttons. There's gonna be an Olivia sighting. I'll finish that sentence. Olivia gonna be here for the Warriors game on the 13th.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
It's lit, man.
I did not intend to go to that game because it is at the exact time the 49ers play the Chargers. So I was looking forward to two screening it, but
Niners
on a ride, we got a ride
too. Niners and turning to my CTV. Hey now.
All right.
Oh my gosh. You saw what it is. You saw me last week and you saw me this week.
It wasn't that bad.
You saw what I was looking like last week. You saw what I'm looking like this week. Yeah. My guy 5. You know what it is.
I saw you. I saw you. It's a 49ers Monday brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore. You get more 49ers coverage. We'll talk Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers victory over the Los Angeles Rams again coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Want to get back into the Sacramento Kings' first win. They're going for their second in just a few hours. We're taking you all the way up until game time. You can hang with us all afternoon.
This is a Danny Fry type pregame show.
Oh, yeah, man. He's hyped for this. If he still listened, he would be hyped for this. But I said the first single drops.
Hey,
12-20. Kings get a win. It took a while to get here, but it's that time. People have been waiting. They've been waiting all season for it.
Kings get the dub. Took 5 games, but we here, baby. Let's go. Yeah. I'm waiting for this. Shout out to my guy BJ's showing love yesterday. Big ups to him. You know what it is. Yeah. Nina had my heart, beauty on repeat. Blues for Nina, not Darius. Still trying to be that funk in her right. Wish she understood that she might. With the rooftop dinner, feel like a queen for the night. Look, Kings get the first win. Is it important or something? Absolutely, when it's about to be a first and 40 or something. Fox 17 and 13, water off for Hero. Sorry, Jack J Street got the only Harlows we know. Yeah, I said sorry, Jack J Street got the only Harlows we know. Yeah, no first class here. The Kings got that.
I don't like this part. Let's stop there.
You know I've got
please
to
stop.
harmonize for them. Yeah. Drake Bar's back, baby. Drake Bar's back.
Just make sure
Kings win.
Just make sure we clip Drake bars like every time, because these are gonna live on social media. Put these on Instagram and everything. Drake bars playlist.
Hey man, you know what I'm saying? Everybody get everything that was said in there.
Yeah. Do you want to Kenny explain?
I need to know if they got what was said. I mean, Nina had my heart, beauty on repeat. You know, Beauty, the classic from Drew Hill, had to play it on repeat because she had my heart. And I had a blues for Nina. I said, I'm not Darius. You know what time that is. I'm still trying to be that funk in her right. Come on, man. I ain't even going to say that. If you know, you know. That's all I'm going to say. And then, obviously, Tyler Hero, Jack Harlow's on J Street. Come on, man. You know what it is, man. I was in my bag. Stop playing with me.
Everybody should be a hype man for themselves the way that Kenny is a hype man for himself. 916 what is our phone number? It's still the same. It hasn't changed. 916-909-1320. We'll get to our brother TC here. TC, what's happening, man?
TC.
What's up with my two brothers, man?
What up, TC? I mean, come on, man. How you feeling today, man? Hey, your boy was in his bag yesterday. He was in his bag. You know that, right?
Man, McCaffrey was in his bag. Check that out, man. McCaffrey was in his bag. If you don't knock it off, McCaffrey was in his bag. Come on, man. Kyle did okay. Plus, I don't want everybody to get big-headed. We do that to the Rams all the time, though.
That's right.
See how the rest of the season gonna go, bro.
That's true. You're right.
You get what I'm saying? But the Kings game was popping, though. I went to the game Saturday. I was sitting behind Uncle McNair, man. I talked to him a little bit, let him know.
Oh.
Yes, I thanked him. I said, you know what? I thank you, brother, for putting this team together and getting us on the right track. He looked me in my eye and said, you know what? Thank you, man. And sat there the rest of the game and we chopped it up.
That's what's up. Money McNair,
DC front office insider.
I'm telling you, he is an insider. He broke news last week with the 49ers. But yeah, man, like Money McNair, any interaction I've had with him, I've heard a number of different people have interactions with him. Good dude, man. Kind of a man of the people.
Yeah, he kind of is.
Yeah.
He kind of is. And I'm sure he was relieved to see the Sacramento Kings get their first victory, given the fact they had to play a bulk of the fourth quarter. Well, they had to play a bulk of the game without Domantas Sabonis, who was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was balling
in the first half. 18 points, 5 rebounds in 17 minutes. And then he committed, I think, 47 fouls in the span of 6 seconds in the second half. The sixth foul, man, that is a wild one.
That was
the one that got him disqualified was just incredible.
There's so much wrong with that. So much wrong with that, right?
Everything was wrong with it.
And it's like the foul was wrong just as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole wait to see if the shot goes in, it doesn't go in, then I'm gonna call the foul, late call thing. That was an abomination as well. But to foul out somebody on that call, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And these referees, I'm not gonna say it's a Sacramento Kings thing or nothing like that. I ain't gonna go there, but damn, they're just bad. They're just bad. Like they don't. They're just bad. It was everything about that was bad. I hope that referee after the game looked at the tape and said, "Yeah, you know what? I missed that one. I was dead wrong on that." Because he was in every way imaginable.
They missed a lot. Like Mike had to challenge a call again. It was like it was the first half for sure. It might have been the first quarter.
It was first quarter,
and,
yeah.
And they were just adamant. You've got to challenge this. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. And Mike was right. They overturned it. And like Sabonis, for those that didn't see, like Sabonis gets like underhooked, pulled down, borderline kind of knocked to the ground, and is called for a foul. Gets up like, you've got to be kidding me. And Mike looks at his bench, and the bench is like, challenge it. They challenge it right away. They overturn it. But that felt like the game. That felt like a lot of what happened. But still, even in the 22, 23 total minutes that Domantas Sabonis played in the game, he was incredible. We saw him finish at the basket, which is something that has been kind of a frustrating trouble for him in the first handful of games. And I was really big on Sabonis.
He was balling. He was he was being a force in the paint in that entire game when he was able to play. That's the type of Domantas Sabonis we like to see. He does have to find a way to not be in foul trouble as much, because even with the bad calls and all this other stuff, it is kind of the norm that he's battling foul trouble. So I don't know what he has to do. I don't know if there's something in his game that he's got to change or whatever the case may be. But that's one thing that I'd like to see is him enter the fourth quarter with 3 fouls instead of 5. Mm-hmm. It's usually how it goes. You usually got 4 or 5. So, yeah. But other than that, he played well. And then it's more on the referees. Like they make that call on Sabonis, and then the non-call on De'Aaron Fox, where Bam just assaulted him. And not only was it a non-call, but it was out on De'Aaron. Now that part was right; it was out on De'Aaron. But I mean,
it shouldn't have gotten that far.
Yeah, it shouldn't have got there. Shouldn't have got there. I really don't know what they're looking at half the time. Like I said, I know it's a hard job. We all get that. That doesn't mean I have to give you a pass for being bad at it.
Yeah. Handle hard better.
Yeah, there we go. I need a shirt.
They're out there. Well, I think they sold out. So you're gonna have to get them on the black market. Kings had 20 points in the paint in the first quarter. They finished with 52. It's only the second time this season that the Kings have won the points in the paint battle. They outscored the Warriors 64-48 in the paint, but that didn't really matter because the Warriors hit 67 threes that game. So I think Steph hit 66 of them. So,
yeah. 65. Don't be ridiculous.
Okay, my bad. I was exaggerating for effect.
I got you.
But a solid performance, right? A lot of that was Sabonis. We haven't even mentioned Kevin Huerter and in the game that he had.
Whose game is it? It's Kevin Huerter's game.
Rolls right off the tongue.
So he had 7 threes on the night. Wow.
He was 7 of 8. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
He missed more free throws than 3-pointers.
That frustrated me too, because I'm like, bro, Come on, man. You out here and sent 7 threes. You gonna miss both of your free throws down the stretch. Come on, Kevin. No, boy, he was balling though. He was on fire from beyond the arc.
I think that was the point in the game where I got a knot in my stomach when he missed 2. Oh no, the offensive rebound with a minute left. Was that the Kevin Huerter free throw?
That was,
or was that Harrison Barnes? I can't remember who missed it.
You mean when Kyle
Lowry got it with a minute left?
Yeah,
they were down
that was a Heat player.
6.
That was a Heat free throw.
Oh, that was an offensive. Okay, yeah. I was sick to my stomach. Like, oh, this what we're doing. This. Oh, okay. All right.
And part of me, expected some type of comeback. In part because the Kings never seem to just blow anybody out and win that way, right? Like, just for the last 5 years, they don't blow, except for that one Hornets game. That's the only time they blew somebody out and stayed.
There was a lot of heartache to get to that one Hornets blowout. Right. Had to deal with a lot of Charlotte Hornets heartache before they got to blow them out.
So part of me expected some type of comeback because of that. Also, the Miami Heat. I mean, they're tough. You know what I mean? They're tough. They got players. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. But I'm not looking at them as some type of scrub team or anything like that. So I knew they would battle back. They're tough enough to find a way to get back into the game. But I was worried a couple times. I ain't gonna lie. I was worried a couple times.
That is hilarious. Kevin Huerter missed 2 free throws and only 1 3-pointer. That's amazing. 27 points and 7 assists for Kevin Huerter. Like, Harrison Barnes had 6 assists. De'Aaron had 5. They
hit your number though. They got close.
They got 27. Yeah, they got 27. Like, that's the area that they've been in every game this year. Also, they led wire to wire. I saw this from Will Z and didn't realize they didn't do that at all last year.
That's crazy.
They didn't lead wire to wire in a single game last year, and they did it. They did it against Miami on Saturday.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of good things came out of Saturday. They played really well, and it's one of those things where the only thing that matters is the wins and losses. And if they wouldn't have been able to find a way to come away with that win, it would have been deflating just in general, because you want to
jobs would have been on the line.
That's hilarious. But
by hilarious, he means stupid.
It would have been deflating on that front, but also because the Kings played really well on Saturday. Like, I know the comeback happened for the Heat or whatever, but don't let that disguise the fact that the Kings, I thought they played really well. That was one of the better Kings games we've seen in the last 18 months or something like that. Like, they played really well in that game. And if they wouldn't have won that, I would have been just as frustrated for the actual loss as it was that they wouldn't be rewarded for how well they played, because they played really good on Saturday.
Yeah, they did. And there's a few things also to kind of jump off. 916-909-1320, by the way, is the phone number if you want to get in here. A lot of people had something to say after the Kings loss. Oh, jump in here if you got something to say after the Kings win. To piggyback on some things that we were talking about on Friday, particularly about Mike Brown and the rotation, in terms of meaningful minutes, it did tighten up a little bit. Chimezie Metu didn't play. Chime Moneki didn't play. Both of those guys saw minutes against Memphis.
Moneki with another option down, didn't he, after the game?
With another what?
Option down to Stockton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they're doing this to this man. I don't know why they have to announce it either. Like, if you want him to go practice, just let my man go.
It's only in the Thomas. Just sneak him over there.
Like, it's a 7-minute drive. What are you doing? And then, like, KZ Okpala played 3 seconds, and Terrence Davis and Alex Lynn both played 5 minutes or less. Terrence Davis was 5 minutes. Alex Lynn was 3. So again, in terms of meaningful minutes, now you had guys get on the floor, but in terms of like meaningful minutes, the rotation was cut down to 9. The starting 5 plus Davion, Trey Lyles out of nowhere.
Oh man. Oh,
Malik
man.
Monk and Rashawn. Trey wasn't Trey the lone guy who didn't play against Memphis?
Yeah, he was.
Like Matthew Dellavedova played and Trey Lyles didn't. And he plays 18 minutes. He not only does he play 18 minutes, he plays 18 effective minutes.
Yes,
in this game against Miami.
He had some big shots, some big plays.
I don't understand like what's happening.
I don't
understand.
I don't either. But I will say this, and this isn't a knock on anybody else. I mean, Trey should be getting those backup 4 minutes. He should. This is a guy that last year I was talking about how much I kind of like Trey Lyles. Like before they got Keegan and everything, I was like, it's not the worst thing to go into the world with Trey Lyles as your starting power forward. That's how good I felt about the minutes he played last year. I feel even better about the fact that he could be your backup power forward and maybe in certain situations your backup 5 or something like that. He should that should be his role. That's where he should be playing. We shouldn't be surprised that he plays or gets those type of minutes. We should be more surprised, which we were, that he didn't play at all when everybody else played.
That's it. Like I think it's a surprise when he plays those minutes and does well after coming off a DNP CD.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I maybe we'll learn more today. Rashawn, I thought Rashawn was really good too. I just thought he was effective. I don't know. Like he didn't, he wasn't dunking or catching balls at the rim or diving on the floor. But I saw Rashawn. You know what I mean? So guys, sometimes you don't really notice they're out there. Like Rashawn, I noticed he was out there. Like I felt like he was impactful.
It feels like and this, I know this can only last so long. I get it. I'm not trying to stall him out. Maybe I am because I like Rashawn, but looks like he's trying to work his way back into a feel, right? Not only is he working his way off of just a rough season last year, but he's in a bit of a new role again. Remember last time we saw him, he was a starting center. Essentially, he played a couple games when Sabonis was there, but he was a starting center. Now he's coming off the bench. He's trying to get reacclimated to that. It seems like he's trying to find his way back into that spot. And it may not manifest itself immediately in numbers, but maybe it manifests itself in the way that you're talking about. You just felt his presence out there. You felt that he was out there. He was effective. He wasn't lost in the shuffle. He had a couple plays where it was like, oh, man. Like I remember specifically, I think it was in the fourth quarter. Fox, there was a double team or something like that, hit him perfectly for, his little patented push shot from about 7 feet away and just missed it. He's just a little off right now. He's just a little off. And I'm hoping that's what it is. He's a little off right now. He's going to get his groove back and then he's going to start playing the way we expect him to. And not that he's just completely out of whack. I'm a lean towards the fact that he's just trying to find his groove.
Stella Holmes is what we'll call him. 916-909-1320. Some of you won't get that. That's a whole reference.
If you got the Darius line, you'll get that.
Indeed. 916-909-1320. Let's get to our brother Rich. Rich, what's happening, man?
Hey, guys. Happy Kings Monday, man. What's going on?
Yes, indeed. What's going on with you, Rich?
Watching the game on Saturday and all these other Kings games, I just saw that Tim Donaghy special on Netflix. And I got to tell you, it feels like the ghost of Tim Donaghy's out there reffing some of these games sometimes. These coaches need more challenges. They need access. I know it's not popular because it extends the game, but they need more access to more challenges in the first half and the second half because I don't know what's happened to the refereeing, but it has gone way downhill.
Yeah. They're bad. It's not even something nefarious going on. I just don't think they're good. And I know we got a couple of referees that listen to the show and they'll say, hey, man, it's hard. I don't dispute that. Like it's a fast moving game. There are things that go on that maybe you miss or whatever the case may be, but it can be a hard job and you still be bad at a hard job. And that's what's going on with the refereeing on a number of different levels at this point. And the other thing about that is, tell me if I'm right with this one, Davion. Mike Brown challenged the play in the first quarter he won the challenge but lost his challenge. Like, he didn't get it back, right? That's why he couldn't challenge, or did he challenge the one in the fourth?
He didn't challenge the one in the fourth.
Because he couldn't, because he didn't have his challenge back, right?
Yeah, and that's the part with Rich that I agree with. They need more challenges.
Or at least 1.5, or at least if you keep your challenge.
At least that, right? Like, at least something to where you feel like something happens. And people, it's often you look at like momentum swinging plays, or you look at what's impactful enough in the first quarter that you have to challenge.
Mm.
Well, one of your best players picking up another foul, that's impactful
Absolutely.
enough. That's going to impact the rest of the half. It's likely going to impact how you coach the rest of the game. So you have to make that decision. Like, what's going to happen at the end of this game if I save this challenge or if I use this challenge? How confident am I in this being overturned? And you have to make those decisions in that split second. So I think Rich is 100% right. There should be more challenges. How many more? I don't know. I think you should at least have one that you have the ability to use in the first half and one that you have the ability to use in the second half. And if you want to monitor it a little bit, they can't carry over.
Yeah.
So you can't you can't stockpile the first one into the second one.
It's
you
like
get one
it's like
and you get one.
timeouts in football.
That's
like
it.
the timeouts don't carry over. You use it or lose it or something like that.
Yeah.
And I also feel like if you win the challenge, you should get it back. Like, you shouldn't be penalized to a certain degree for incompetence of others.
Yeah. Both of those calls against Sabonis were so bad.
It's crazy.
Sabonis is, you got to be kidding me. We're just going to start calling DeMontis Sabonis the challenge.
the challenge.
We're just going to call Sabonis the challenge, because at some point you're going to have to challenge a play that involves Sabonis.
And the frustrating thing about it is, once again, it's a fast game. You're going to miss calls or whatever. Those were obvious. Those were called, those are 50-50 plays or whatever the case may be. Yeah, you may get them wrong, whatever the case. You can't miss those calls.
Yeah.
Those are obvious calls. The other one with De'Aaron Fox, that they didn't give him the call for. Obvious calls. It's atrocious. It's atrocious.
Lazy, hang tight. We want to get to you. Anyone else who wants to talk, 916-909-1320. Now, we've covered a lot of the good here, but there's some we've got to talk about the third quarter. And the main reason we got to talk about the third quarter, because this team plays again in 3 hours. So we've got to talk about what we saw. I want to talk about Davion. I feel like this is the first Kings game where we haven't led with Keegan Murray. We'll talk a little bit about what he did as well. And then, of course, we'll get to the 49ers and their win against the Los Angeles Rams heading into the bye week. So that's all coming up here as Dylan and Casey continue on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
They tried everything in their power not to say Sacramento.
Man, George.
They're trying everything they can not to just say Sacramento.
Boy, I swear. Imagine being in the market for 30 years and you're biting the crew that's been here for 2. Follow our lead, bitch, and you might get this right. Talking about your local sports leader. Go live tweet a Patriots game. Be kidding me. See, I wasn't even, man. Hey, let me tell y'all something. I don't pay a bit of attention to what those people do, but it's my partner. It's guys like Matt George. Y'all know. You gonna say something to me? You gonna let me know what's going on over there, and I'm not gonna react.
Hey, man, I'm just that type of guy. I know everything that goes on. Everything. What Jay-Z say? I'm like a dog. I never speak, but I understand. Come on, man. I know everything that go on. Everything. Art of War, baby.
Art of War.
Let me turn this fan off.
Yeah. I don't even know if petty's the word. I'm just kind of a dick when it comes to this stuff. Oh yeah, that's what I was like. Hit the thumbs up, guys, please. Appreciate you being here. Glad everybody's watching. We got 320 in YouTube alone. So if you guys could hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the show, subscribe, man. I think you'll like us. We're a good show. If you don't listen regularly. If you're a Kings fan, I think you'll really, really like the show.
It's funny you say that because I thought about before I did Drake bars, always like we got new people for the season. Should we give them an explanation to let them know I'm not really a rapper or trying to be a rapper?
Let them think that you're a rapper. I'm the DJ. He's the rapper. That's how it works. Oh no, there's a different reason it's not able to get sponsored.
Haters in the house. Jake Paul fight thoughts. I actually missed the Jake Paul fight. I saw he got a knockdown late.
Hey, so I got a question. You're not doing anything on that in the 13th round, are you?
Not today. No.
Is he legit? Like, can he fight? No. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I will give him this. I think he works his ass off as far as like training and trying to be a boxer. He doesn't cut corners. But there's a couple things going on. Number one, I don't think he's allegedly, not sure he's entirely clean. So there's that.
But I don't think anyone there is.
In boxing?
No, in that thing that he's doing. It's boxing. I don't know what it's. I know they say all these athletic commissions are there, but athletic commissions ain't worth anything.
True. Now he brings a level of excitement to the sport. I don't have a problem with Jake Paul. But I do know, like, there's a ceiling to this, right? Like he's not gonna go into the realm of let me fight like these real fighters. Like he did call out Canelo. I think he
called out Canelo and who? Oh, Nate, right? Was it Nate Diaz?
Yeah, Nate Diaz.
Called out Nate Diaz and Canelo. Yeah.
I think he would like Canelo. Like I think he would fight him. I don't think he'd beat him, but he would fight him because the payday would be crazy. Like he'd do anything for the cash.
Would it really?
Canelo would dog walk Jake Paul.
This Canelo.
Yeah. Floyd carried him for probably the first 6 rounds and then turned up on him. And Floyd didn't even train. Floyd was like at some cabana at Tao a week before.
Yeah. 916-909-1320. We're with you all the way till the start of the Kings game. Their first East Coast road trip begins today. They'll take on the Charlotte Hornets coming up at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Why I hesitated there, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought the Saturday was a Damian special. Boy, this don't hurt. Why do you think so much of the show was written when you first opened the document? Wide awake, just typing away. Like I got an idea for this segment and an idea for this segment. Yeah, man, I'm all for these. I'm all for these 4 o'clock starts.
Yeah, I mean, they're okay with me too. Although, what am I going to watch at the end of the night? Plus, today is a bad day because I'm supposed to trick or treat.
Oh yeah, I don't have that. I don't have that problem, so I understand. I don't have that issue. But you wouldn't trick or treat before. Like, you gonna trick or treat before 7?
No. Well, you probably started about 6:30.
Yeah, I guess it's dark then. Okay.
And we'll be done by about 6:30.
Yeah.
Hopefully the Kings are up by 25, and I don't have to worry about the fourth quarter.
Did you watch on Saturday? Because you have to be worried regardless of how much the Kings are up.
Oh yeah, I watched. We had a soccer game.
I know you watched. What I'm saying is, you've got to be maybe halfway through the fourth quarter. Kings are up 25. Game's probably going a little quicker. You can get out of there.
Yeah. No lead is safe. No lead is safe. Got to watch the end.
And that's really what it was about, man. It's that third quarter. The Kings were up by as many as 22, and man. when Harrison Barnes is just lazily throwing the ball around, and I don't mean it was just Harrison Barnes.
Right.
I mean when even Harrison Barnes is throwing bad passes, just in Morgan uses this term a lot, just lazy passes where you're not putting any zip on the ball, you're not really paying attention to your surroundings, and they wind up turnovers. We're gonna get into that. I want to get to Leezy first, though. Leezy's been waiting patiently. 916-909-1320. Leezy, what's happening, man?
What's up, D-Lo and KC? You know,
HAL, we got your boys.
I know. That's why it took me so long to call, man. I was watching the Kings versus my Heat, man, and I lost my smile again.
Took me so long to call. It's 12:51.
I felt like Tupac, so many tears. But just quick comment and quick question. I just wanted to comment because you guys know I've been critical of De'Aaron Fox, but that game against the Heat was one of his best, where he's getting bored, playing defense. So keeping the same energy and giving you guys some respect, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, this is a question for KC.
Yes, sir.
KC, I've been listening to you guys for 2-3 years, and you've constantly hated on my Miami Heat. We've been to the finals. We've been to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I got a question. Going forward, who thinks they have a better season this year? My Miami Heat or your Brooklyn Nets, who's already in drama this year?
Ooh, well, first of all, don't disparage me like that. That's not my Brooklyn Heat. Okay, let's get that straight. If anything,
Brooklyn
if there's
Nets.
any team in New York, it's the Knicks. All right, so let's get that straight right now. Second of all, I don't know who's going to have a better season. Because I feel how I feel about the Heat. I don't think what are the Heat now? 2-6 or something like that.
Is this the Brooklyn Heat or the Miami Heat? Which Heat are you talking about?
The Harlem Heat.
Well, that was last week. If you caught it, you caught it.
But yeah, man.
Booker T. Caraway.
But I think it's looking ugly for the Nets right now. And that's really. They're not ready to start the season until Steve Nash is gone. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like for them players. They're like, we ain't starting the season until Nash is gone.
Kevin Durant, I'm trying to move this process along.
Right now, I'd say that he would have a better season just because you can't trust the Nets right now. You can't trust them at all. But I'll be hating on the Heat. I love the Heat. I love the Heat culture. I think Coach Smo's a great coach. I love what Pat Riley has established down there. I really like the Heat culture. I just don't ever really believe in them. I love Jimmy Butler. I love Tyler Hero. You know, Bam is my guy. So they got a lot of players on there I love. Shout out to Gabe Vincent, Sacramento stand up. You know what I mean? That's our guy. They got a lot of people that we got love for over there. I just don't think they're that good. But because of the way they play and real talk, the Heat culture, they're going to be around. Absolutely.
Oh yeah. They're absolutely going to be around. I thought Eric Spoelstra's post-game remarks were a little bit funny. I
missed him. I didn't see what he said.
He said, I'll paraphrase a little bit. I can pull the exact quote from our stuff from the Kings, but it's something along the lines of, they were desperate to get that first win. That they came out hungrier. They came out more desperate. They needed to get that first win. And all I kept thinking was, bro, you're like 2-5. Like, wait a minute, aren't you desperate to get back up to where you're supposed to be? I mean, I get that because I believe that he's right.
Yeah.
But it's not like the Heat are 5-1. It's like you've got to be desperate to get on track here. And I didn't get the feeling that they were at all.
No. Or it's just not that good. Like, I don't think they're 2-5 bad, but compared to the rest of that East, I don't think they're that good. They're a playing team.
I don't want to derail us. I don't want to derail us too much. Talk about the East. Talk about my Cleveland Cavaliers.
Ooh, they got my Knicks last night on a come from behind situation.
Donovan Mitchell is playing out of his mind. He is playing absolutely out of his mind. We'll get to that. That's later. We'll get to that. James Ham coming up. Final part of the show, 916, final hour of the show, 916-909-1320. If you want to get in on these phone lines. So we were talking, we were just getting ready to dive into the third quarter here a little bit. And it was turnovers that nearly killed them. It's 9 turnovers led to 12 points in that quarter alone. They had 7 turnovers in the first half. That's something for the most part I feel like they've done a decent job of doing, is protecting the ball.
Yeah. I agree.
Not great, but certainly better than what we've seen in years past. In some games were great. And I thought they were on track again. 7 first half turnovers. All right, you double that, you're in the area of 13, 14. That's not the worst. Like I'll take that. Man, these dudes had 9 in the third quarter alone. It led to 12 points. Davion, God bless this brother. Davion played 3 minutes in the third quarter. He had 3 turnovers.
That can't happen.
I know we talk about assist to turnover ratio, but that assist to minute ratio is brutal. Or that turnover to minute ratio is brutal.
That can't happen. That can't happen. And part of why they got themselves, to that lead was taking care of the basketball. You know what I mean? They were obviously doing a lot of work in the paint, but they weren't loose with the ball. They weren't soft with the basketball, whatever. And they completely lost all of that in the third quarter. I mean, that's inexcusable. I think at one point, I forgot when I saw it. I want to say it was fairly early in the third quarter, maybe midway through. They had 7 turnovers already. You said they ended up with 9 in the whole quarter, but they had 7 like early. It felt like in the third quarter.
Yeah, they tightened up a little bit in the final 3.5, 4 minutes. Like that's where, okay, you got your silly. It was really a stretch of 6 minutes at the end of the half and 6 minutes at the start of the third that were just wild for both teams. And then it kind of settled into a basketball game for the final 18 minutes.
Right. Nah, and that's, we joke about it or whatever. You want to use timeouts. You want to use quick timeouts. Use the timeout after that second turnover. And be like, yo,
and I think
tighten up.
I think Mike did, but he actually might have did that in the fourth quarter. I'm trying to think. There was a timeout. It was after a Harrison Barnes pass, and I think it was at the very beginning of the fourth quarter. It was 10 minutes in 30 seconds left, 10 minutes, 25 seconds left. And it was turnover led to a basket. Mike Brown called timeout. But the lead had, for the most part, in terms of making it a close game, it was no longer 22. It was down to single digits at the point that happened. Can we spend a second on Davion here?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're listening to D-Lo and Casey on KIFM West Sacramento 98.5 FM, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320, driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, always live on the free Odyssey app, always live in video form on twitch.tv/ESPN 1320, youtube.com/ESPN 1320. I was really confident in Davion headed into this season. He was the guy who I thought, as much newness as there is in Sabonis, Herter, Malik, Keegan, and even to a certain degree, different degree, but still Rashawn. Yeah. I thought Davion's going to be the one who's going to center into his role the easiest, because his role probably is going to be clear from jump. And he has not. Not only has he not, I think that's maybe to the slightest affected how Mike uses him. Now, I don't think Davion is even sniffing the idea of a DNP. But what I mean is I don't think the idea is to play Davion 11 minutes either. And I think the way that he's played at the start of the season has probably caused Mike to try some other things there. And that was not that. If I had to have bet on something, if I had to have bet on somebody struggling, Davion probably would have been the last guy I bet on.
Yeah.
I didn't expect this at all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say I did expect it, because I didn't expect it either. But at the same time, I mean, one of the things that we talked about, I think last week, was the fact that with Davion, it seems like he's most productive the more minutes he gets. And that's understandable. That's fine. Like, I get it. It's not a knock on him or anything like that. But he's not going to get those minutes he got towards the end of the season last year. At least I don't think so. It's a deeper team. There's just
not 25, 26, 27. That's what you're talking about.
Right. And that's when you statistically played his best when that happened. He's got to find a way. And I know you are too, but I'm giving him time to find his way and navigate through this, where he's not going to have all these minutes available to him. If he has 14, 15 minutes a night, he's got to find a way to be super effective in those 14, 15 minutes. Maybe the way he plays leads to him playing more as the game goes along. You don't know, but he's got to find a way to be a little bit more effective in the limited time that he has right now. I don't know if that's what he does offensively, more on the defensive end or whatever. It's hard on the defensive end because, like I told you guys last year, I would watch. And after like the third game, nobody was letting their guard go one-on-one against Davion. Davion was in, it was a screen and roll and get him off the ball one-on-one. So he's not going to get the opportunities to really showcase his one-on-one defense like that all the time. So now you're looking at the way he distributes the ball, maybe the way he scores, maybe some rebound or whatever the case may be. And so far this year, that's what's been lacking.
Yeah. We saw, we mentioned Mike Brown tightening up the rotation a little bit. I think we saw some form of Keegan with Sabonis or Keegan with Fox or Sabonis and Fox like the whole game. Mm-hmm. We had always seen, going, into the Memphis game. There was always Keegan, Sabonis, or Fox on the floor. Now there's a combination of the three on the floor at every point during the game. It seemed like at every point during the game. And if it wasn't, like, it was the time that they were off together was just absolutely minimal. Watching how this really the second unit has progressed, watching how the second unit progresses moving forward may tell a major story when we look back on the Kings in 6 more games, or even at the end of this road trip, what this second unit is able to do versus Charlotte tonight, what they're able to do against Miami a second time, what they're able to do against Orlando, because there's always someone who stands out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Again, with the RKO out of nowhere, it was Trey Lyles. Like, did not see that coming, but Trey Lyles was extremely effective in the time that he was in. Now, what does that mean moving forward? Because we saw the ineffectiveness of Chimezie Metu and Chime Moneke. Mm-hmm. And I know that James Ham was high on some of the things that Chime Moneke did in his limited minutes against Memphis. Okay. I don't think that's what the Kings need, like, right now, or what they needed in that game against Miami. But how does Mike Brown approach Trey Lyles today? How does Mike Brown approach even like Rashawn? Because we talked about how effective Rashawn was. Mm-hmm. I wonder if he goes in with an idea of what he wants to do with that second unit, and everything from there, from that first substitution, around that 5 or 6 minute mark, everything there is sort of on the fly, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, quite possibly. And there's a little benefit to that. Like, I can understand that so it's a fine line between staying with what your scheduled rotation is, and having a feel for the game. Like, I'm sure in that third quarter, he didn't mean to play Davion only 3 minutes, but he wasn't executing. So he had to make a decision at that point. Am I going to leave him in, or am I going to be ready to bring Fox back in quicker? So you have your rotations, you have what you plan to do, but sometimes you just got to read the game a little bit. You got to say, hey,
yeah,
this isn't
I'm all
really
for that, by the
working,
way.
or this is working a little bit more. So I'm gonna leave these guys out here. I mean, it's what Phil Jackson did in Game 6 in 1992 in the NBA Finals. Jordan didn't have it. He went to Bobby Hansen.
Bobby Hansen did.
Bobby Hansen hit about the 45.
17 points in the third quarter.
Bobby Hansen had 3.
Isn't that Kings legend Bobby Hansen?
It is. It is.
Bobby got him a ring. Airtime references are my favorite longest running joke on this show.
All right.
I'll play like the dog.
All right. It's time. We're back in.
Bobby Hansen's done his part. Put me back in.
And his 3 probably cut it to like 15 to 12.
It did. I'm almost positive it cut it to 12. Almost positive. I've watched that game so many times. I used to have it on VHS recorded right off of television. I watched that game so many times.
Oh, man. We're the only ones to get this reference to.
I'm sure nobody remembers this. Nobody. But I love the Bobby Hansen references. Again, Rick Adelman unable to adjust. Unable to adjust to Bobby Hansen.
Rick. Come on,
Damn.
Rick.
Damn.
Hey, I got a question for you about Fox. In that fourth quarter, crunch time, did you think he got a little bit into the hero ball, I'm going to dramatically put this one away thing?
I thought he was aggressive. I don't know. No, not really.
I'm going to say, for me, I thought he did.
Okay.
And I loved it.
So,
I loved it. Put it away. You've earned the right, the way you play defense, the way you've played all day long. You've earned this opportunity to try and get that one dagger that sends the crowd going crazy, that puts an exclamation mark on this game. I loved it. I love that he went for it. I have no problem with it. A lot of people will have problems with it. I had no problem with it.
Okay, so to play hero ball, or to attempt to take a game over, do you have to do something wrong in that sense? Like, do you feel like in that stretch, De'Aaron did anything that was forced? Like, did he force a shot? Did he make a bad play?
I mean, I don't think he made a bad play. He went one-on-one a few times down the stretch with Jimmy Butler, step back threes, went to attack him, a number of different things. So
he had a nice little like
oh yeah,
it wasn't a floater. It was like a flick shot
when he spun off of Tyler Hero.
Yeah,
that was nice. Had a little hop to a step afterwards. Like, he earned that. He earned that opportunity. I was listening to something with Charles Barkley, and right or wrong, that's a whole nother debate. But he brings up a good point for somebody like De'Aaron Fox. And this is, it's a little different. It's not the same, but I almost feel this way for De'Aaron. Charles says, don't nobody say Seth Sabonis ain't won no championship. You know what I'm saying? They say Charles Barkley never won a championship. And he has to carry that with him. And in this particular situation, if the Kings aren't going to make the playoffs or they lose a game, nobody's sitting up here talking about Davion Mitchell ain't never made the playoffs. They're going to sit up there and say De'Aaron Fox ain't made the playoffs. It's on him, right or wrong, indifferent or not. Sometimes it calls for a situation where you just keep playing in the flow and you feed the hot hand, whether it's Kevin Huerter or Keegan Murray or something like that. On Saturday, I felt De'Aaron Fox had earned the opportunity to try and put that game away with a couple of his baskets. I felt he had earned by the way he had played offensively, working the ball around, getting it to other guys, and specifically for what he was doing on the defensive end. And if you see a couple of opportunities where it's one-on-one, and it was really one shot that would have kind of put these guys away, would have sent Golden One Center into a frenzy. He absolutely deserved that opportunity. He had worked his butt off to get to that point, and I had no problem with it. But I did see him saying, all right, it's time for me to go. I'm going to try and put this away. I saw it, and I didn't have no problem with it.
I don't, because nothing stood out. Again, running it back, though, admittedly, by the time it got to the fourth quarter, I was a little, attention was diverted. I watching it live, I don't ever remember thinking, oh, come on, De'Aaron. I mean, maybe this is the difference between maybe my confidence level in him is different. It's like, go ahead, take this over. And part of it, because you talk about that one that'll send the Golden One Center into a frenzy, or that one that block. Give me that from De'Aaron. You go and block Tyler Hero, and the way Tyler Hero was playing in that fourth quarter, man, give me that.
And then draw the offensive foul. I mean, that got a pop from me in my living room when I saw that. That was big time by De'Aaron, big time. And once again, I want to be clear. I don't think he was taking bad shots, but it was clear it was one-on-one. It was
I'm gonna win the game.
That's what we're doing. Didn't have a problem with it at all. I loved it, actually.
And it's probably also Sabonis was out of the game, though. You had Kevin Huerter, who was just playing phenomenal. And by the way, first mention of the day, Keegan Murray.
Damn, 22 like it's nothing.
Keegan Murray had 22.
22 like it's nothing.
And it was the most Keegan Murray 22 points imaginable, because it was just 22.
That guy's good, man. He is so
turned the ball over a little bit.
Yeah, turned it over a little bit. Got caught in the air a couple of times. Missed a big layup down the stretch. That was just unfortunate.
Was bizarre.
That was unfortunate. That it wasn't like he necessarily did anything wrong, but that would have been a big play if he would have finished that one. But I mean, that's what we're talking about with this guy at this point. Like, still had 22. It was 8 of 13 from the field or something like that. Yeah, 8 of 13 from the field.
Amazing.
Damn.
Kings turned the ball over 20 times. The Heat turned the ball over 8. It is a freaking miracle they held on to win that game. Yeah. The Sixers,
victory, man.
They should have. We'll tell you what's going on with the Philadelphia 76ers. They're being docked draft picks. You won't believe this, but apparently there's some less than legal behavior surrounding free agency.
Oh my.
That's stunning.
Really?
Nobody would have guessed this.
Really?
Nobody would have guessed this. Plus, we'll talk about Christian McCaffrey. 49ers win. More I want to talk about with the Kings as well.
Also,
more I want to talk about with De'Aaron Fox also.
Oh, volume went up. There we go.
Oh, breaking news?
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
It ain't that breaking if we're going to tease it for the commercial break. This is the downside to being at home. Kenny's got the buttons back and all hell's breaking loose.
We're set that. We need to get this in the studio.
Stilo and KC, Sacramento sports leader, ESPN 1320. Oh, yeah. Tell Bryce.
Yeah. Hold tight, Bryce.
Let me go grab something at the door, man. I'll be right back.
Is you crazy? My laugh? Next time, tell him to call on the show, man. He can have an anonymous name or whatever, but just call on the show. Let him come through. Damien, did you hear what Jesse tell him what we
Oh. Probably Cattles. Every time Kenny laughs, he's laughing or something they're doing. Hey, shout out to our guy Adam and the crew, and Jamil. They forgot to reschedule the interview, but they sent us the book anyway.
Oh.
Well, I guess I'll read it and get this done just in case.
Oh. Yeah, Darren. Last time somebody gave us gambling advice that wasn't me, listen to me. They said that Memphis was going to throw the game against the Kings on Thursday. So it's not exactly how that one went down.
Oh, Kyle, thanks for the order, bro. I just saw that come in. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate
Thank
you
so
big
much.
dog. Wait, Bryce, no, you didn't get hung up on. You hung up. What are you talking about? Call back, Bryce. Call back, Bryce. Call back.
Bryce, the way you're talking, this better be the greatest damn phone call in history. Like, this better be the one. You know what, Pragmatic Pessimist? I actually didn't even write that into the show.
Yeah, that was a little bizarre.
I don't know if you want to.
I don't know a whole lot about that. I've heard.
You read? Did you read the why?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I just saw it. Like I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We might have to. Let's just have a good day today.
Let's just talk about Doug Primo or Kyrie today. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. No, sir.
Yeah, I just say that dude is a fucking idiot. That dude is an absolute idiot. He just throws like word salads together to make himself sound intelligent, and he legit sounds like an idiot. Oh, good. Oh, there you go. Good stuff right there.
John Bull, I see you. I see John Bull.
I do not see Jonathan Bull.
Jonathan. Steven, I woke up Sunday morning and I just thought about something and I tweeted it out and it went crazy. It's literally what happened. It's literally what happened.
I don't even think it is a hot take. Like, I've never called this place Sacktown, ever.
Never. I've never been out of town and be like, yeah, I'm going back to Sacktown.
I absolutely feel like that's something people say that aren't from here.
Yeah. And like I said,
that's why I hated those jerseys.
It's people, from what I learned, it's a little bit of an older demographic. They would say that. But
Jesse's worse than I am. You just don't always hear what he says.
If you're my age or younger, I'm not sure you're saying Sacktown like that.
The Desert Sports. Phoenix Sports. Imagine Phoenix telling Sacramento what to do.
The funny thing about it is, nah, I'll just leave it alone. I'm about to say, I think they're the only ones. Everybody else got their real name up.
Oh, yeah. The NBA and the NBA Players Association are expected to revisit the rules that punish teams discovered to have had discussions with player agents on pending free agents ahead of free agency's official start. Sources said the practice is rampant, but hard to police and largely impossible to eliminate. That's Adrian Wojnarowski on the heels of the 76ers, who have lost their 2023 and 2024 second round picks as a result of the investigation into the signings of Daniel House and PJ Tucker this summer.
I mean, like, when it comes to these things, I guess you got to do something sometimes, but it is true. Like, it is impossible to stop.
Yeah.
Like, how you going to stop it?
There's nothing you can do.
How you going to stop God's plan? You know what I'm saying? It's impossible to stop. Like, I guess and if I was a team, like if I was the Sixers, I really wouldn't make a fuss about it. Not saying they are, but I wouldn't make a fuss about it. Like, well, I guess it's our turn to get penalized.
Yeah.
Like, because they've got to do something, right? Like, because we all see what's going on. We all know what it is. They have to do something at least every now and then, but you can't do it to everybody. So,
yeah, I don't. You can only hope to contain it. That was a deep cut. That's a deep. Yeah, that's an old school Sports Center cut.
Oh,
people who
I'm laughing.
People. It's really taken away from the show, Kenny. It's really taken away from the show. I wish you'd stop laughing. When the stream couldn't hear Jesse when he said that story during the commercial break, did it?
No,
well, it doesn't matter because the radio doesn't audio. There's a person who listens to the show, and we're very thankful for you for listening. But apparently, he's called twice in consecutive days. Is that right?
Yeah, this guy called. He called Friday. Like, he called Friday. He's like, "Hey, can you tell Kenny like to stop laughing? Like, he's really like getting in the way of the show." I'm kind of like, "Yeah, I'll tell him." And I hung up. And then he calls back to her. He's like, "Yeah, about that laughing. Like, Kenny's still laughing. Like, it's really taken away from the show. Can you tell him to stop laughing?" I know he's listening right now. So
knock it off.
If you're listening, I told Jesse too. If you're listening, call in and say it to my face. No, I'm messing with you. Like, call in and like just I don't just talk to me. That's it. I won't hang up on you. I won't yell at you. That's not the case. I'm just really curious by this take. I love to hear.
What do you hate about what do you hate about happiness? Why are you against black joy? Oh man. I want to talk more about De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes. We got to talk about this Hornets game. Like,
I didn't give you my breaking news.
Oh, I know. Okay. I just
Bears have traded Roquan Smith to the Ravens for a second round pick.
So when is when does breaking news end? Because I saw it and was just like, this has nothing to do with nothing. It's a deal for sure, but it had nothing to do with nothing. So I'm just gonna leave it out there. When like, because I hate when ESPN does this. They put the red thing at the bottom and it says breaking news, and it's like, yo, and it's something from like 4 hours ago that we've talked about today.
Auburn head coach has been fired.
At what point do we go, okay, it's been 5 minutes, this isn't breaking news anymore?
The only reason it is breaking news, I think Roquan's a pretty good ball player. That's a pretty. I absolutely. That's a pretty like instrumental piece to be moved. At the trade deadline.
What are they doing?
The Bears?
That was an interesting game yesterday. Even if you just had the game on the Red Zone channel, Oh, pragmatic pessimist. He says breaking news is about 7 days, according to the Sacramento Bee. Now, shout out to the Bee. Shout out to Joe Davidson.
Big up Joe D. Big up Joe D. Shout out to JA. We like JA too.
For sure. Cam,
the
whole crew.
The whole crew. Biederman.
Oh, Chris Biederman does work for the Sacramento Bee. That's right.
This is only one person that we're not filling over there.
Yeah, it's just one guy. Really, shout out to everybody but that guy. I saw a older gentleman in Sacramento media. He was tweeting about the 49ers yesterday. And it took everything I had to not say something. This individual tweeted, "Whoa, I'm going to paraphrase. Jimmy Garoppolo playing well today. Not sure Trey Lance could have made some of these throws."
Come on, man.
Like, wait a minute.
Come on, man.
What? Literally, what the F does that have to do with anything? What are you even bringing Trey Lance's name up for?
Come on, man.
Oh man, I saw that. I was like, bro, I don't say anything. He probably won't see the tweet for 8 days anyway. Just leave it. Just leave it. So I left it. I've been doing very good with that lately, I think, and not hitting send when I want to.
See, nowadays, I've gotten to the point where I tweet things out and I just
vaguely
anything out there. Like, I don't need to respond. We don't need
judging by your Sacktown tweet last night, you just tweet and walk away.
That's it. I shout out to what's my coach's name? I forgot. I'm a mess it up because I don't have it in front of me.
He's your coach and you don't know his name.
The coach over at Grant High football.
Coach Reed? Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but I would talk to him because we talk because he's a little bit more of an OG. Show respect to him and what he had going on and show love. But that's really about it. that was the only back and forth I had.
Kenny legit just tweet stuff and leave. Like, I'm good. Out of here on this one.
Just woke up with a thought in my head and it just came to mind.
One of my absolute favorite things is when just very low rent Twitter people don't like what you tweet and they comment that you're an idiot, but they spell it YOUR.
Oh, you're just be having people choke on.
That is just my absolute favorite, because if you're gonna call someone an idiot, you better get that right. You better be sure to get that one right.
Oh, that'd be suffocating some people.
Dude, is Bryce still there? Is Bryce still trying to get in? This better be the greatest call in history, because Bryce has really built this thing up to be major. Bryce, what's up, brother?
Hey, sorry. It's hilarious. It's been like a good half an hour, like not even kidding.
Gotta fire that takeoff. Let's go, baby.
Okay, so a couple of things. So first of all, happy Victory Monday.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, looks like we won that trade. The Rams shaking in their boots.
Yeah, I agree.
He had 1 week. He had 1 week to prepare, and he's already set an NFL record. Like, all right. The second thing, you guys are talking about the refs and the play calling and stuff, or like the way that they've been playing. I talked to Deuce and Mo about it with Sabonis. Do you think that like a true rim protector on the Kings is going to be a problem, like not having one in the end? Like, if they're not going to, you really use Keita, who's the most like natural kind of traditional five. And then I don't know how much you're going to get out of Rashawn, only 12 minutes, and Len is all right. And the thing you talked about, Davion, I had like an idea. You know how sometimes they talk about running backs and like they need more, like it's a running back that like give him more carries. Like he gets better as the game goes along. I think Davion's the same way. He needs to play more, because you saw when he plays more and his role is elevated, he plays great. But then when he only plays a few things here and there, he doesn't play that good.
Okay,
Bryce, I don't dispute that. The whole thing is he's not going to play more.
But there's a lot there.
Not enough
Appreciate
minutes.
you, Bryce. But is there a chance maybe we're over valuing that stuff at the end of the season a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I don't mean that as I've already said I didn't expect this from Davion. I expected Davion to be the most steady and consistent role player on this team. So I've been off about that. His struggles are a surprise to me, but I think maybe we're putting a little too much stock into what happened at the end of the season when half of the league was done playing, and they're, I don't even know who he was playing with at this point. I can't remember. Terrence wasn't here. Aaron wasn't here. Sabonis wasn't here. I don't know who the hell he was. I can't remember who he was playing with.
Justin Holiday.
There Jeremy Lamb minutes still in there, or was he
Jeremy
going
Lamb was in there. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It shows, it does show that he can be productive given minutes. I think he can. But right now, the way the minutes are being distributed, I don't know if he's going to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So to say he needs more minutes and he's got to get it done, he may not get that chance. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're going to not be productive in the minutes that you do have, or are you going to find a way to be productive? And to be honest with you, maybe even force the hand of Coach Mike Brown. That's the way that you get more minutes. They're not just given to you. And all this I'm saying is I don't think Davion is doing this or feeling this way or anything like that. But I'm just saying, this how you do it. That's how you force the hand of the coach, is how you play. And you kind of make it where damn, I can't take Davion off. I got to take somebody else off the floor because he's playing too well. He's doing too many winning things for us right now. I can't take him off. That's what he's got to do. He's got to find a way to find whatever that niche is right now that's going to keep him on the floor.
Davion's got to be better. And it's got to start today. We'll talk about that, but we've got to get to this.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
The ceiling is the roof. Performance of the night brought to you by ACR Solar. Call 916-481-7200 to set your appointment and see if solar is right for you. John and his crew will do a whole evaluation, not only of your home and your energy bills. They'll take a look around your neighborhood as well and give you a full idea of what solar can do for you. Again, call ACR Solar, 916-481-7200. No doubt this is going to the newest member of the San Francisco 49ers. Christian McCaffrey had a massive day. Ooh. He had a historic day yesterday. 18 carries on the ground, good for 94 yards and a touchdown. 8 receptions in the air, 55 yards and a touchdown. And a 34-yard touchdown pass to go along with all of that as the San Francisco 49ers beat the Los Angeles Rams in Levi SoFi South 31-14. 4 straight regular season sweeps for the San Francisco 49ers over the Rams. McCaffrey, on a day with no Deebo Samuel, was absolutely incredible yesterday.
He was a star. He was an absolute star. He was a playmaker. He was a game changer out there. I was so hyped and so impressed by what he was able to do out there. And I look at the way he's used in that offense, and it was a little bit more magnified maybe this time without Deebo being there. He kind of played the role of Deebo. But this is what I talked about in the offseason, is they needed something to offset Deebo a little bit so everything wasn't on his shoulders. They either need to bring another wide receiver in and run Deebo more if you want to do that, or if you don't want to run him, you bring in another running back and let him be a little bit more of a wide receiver. But they needed some. Remember, I was going through a number of different names. I think Melvin Gordon was somebody I talked about. Juju Smith was somebody I talked. I don't care which one it is, but you have to alleviate some of the responsibility off of Deebo. and they couldn't have found a better person to do it potentially. Christian McCaffrey is a hell of a ball player. He's a hell of a ball player. And the funny thing about it was I didn't even realize it because it feels like he's been in our lives in the NFL for such a long time. He's only 26 years old.
Yeah.
He's only 26. And he's had injuries. He's been nicked up for sure. But if they can find a way, he's what, and I don't know if you can use him.
There's 7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had the 2019, the 2 where he's injured. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can use him because he is so good, but he's what I always talked about with Raheem Mostert. Get him 12, 13 carries a game, and he can be a big breakout guy. The difference with Mostert and McCaffrey, though, is McCaffrey is a threat out of the backfield to catch the ball and make plays that way. There was a couple of different things. He had consecutive impactful plays. I think it was in the second quarter where it was like a 3rd and 7. He caught the ball 6 yards away from the first down marker, made one quick move, made a guy miss, and then ran and got the first down. All right, just a playmaker, right? Then the very next play, he goes out on a specific route, and the attention is drawn towards him, leaves a wide open seam for George Kittle for another 15, 20 yards or something like that. That is, I usually don't like the term too much, but to me, that is making the other people around you better. Just the sheer gravity that you have, giving opportunities to others that they may not have if you weren't there. So you got all those. And then, I mean, the touchdown catch. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. You want to talk about somebody popping in their living room. I lost it. What a play. What a
It's like dealing with a sophomore class.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. And it was organic, by the way.
I didn't even say nothing.
But man, I didn't know what Jimmy was gonna do. And I'll get to Jimmy in a second too. I didn't know what Jimmy was gonna do. He makes the pass. I'm like, that's a little too high. It's gonna go out of bounds. We're just gonna kick the field goal, whatever the place. Christian McCaffrey goes up and gets that thing. And it keeps both feet in. This boy CMC. Oh, he the truth. He's the truth. He is the truth.
I hope you understand the spirit of this question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Christian McCaffrey better at the Debo role than Debo? Christian McCaffrey's sort of they're very their skill sets are a little bit different. Their size is very different.
Yeah.
But he's not that he's the first one in the history of the NFL, but he's like the original Debo. Like he can do everything, as we saw yesterday. And that was we saw that at Stanford. We eventually saw that in Carolina, and that was the idea of what would it look like with a talented roster around him and an offensive, coordinator, an offensive-minded head coach like Kyle Shanahan. Mm-hmm. Is Christian McCaffrey actually better at that role? And if he is, can you focus Debo primarily, not saying you can't do the other stuff, but do you focus him primarily on being a go-get-it wide receiver?
I'm not sure if I'd say he's better. I think it happens a little different, right?
Okay.
Debo is a little bit more blunt force with his. He's a little more powerful. He's a little more smash mouth. Mm-hmm. Christian McCaffrey gives you that element of being able to do things outside the numbers. You know what I mean? And being able to be effective. It has a negative connotation, so I don't want to say it, but more of a finesse way. You know what I mean? Than Debo has. Debo's just a little bit more smash mouth, right? Mm-hmm. They can. I think. Hopefully, this isn't a cop out for your question, but they're the same. They're equal. They just happen in a different way, which could make the Niners even more dynamic because now they can give it to you any way you want it.
Okay. Okay, so I'm actually glad you answered it that way because it brings up another question then. Does that game transpire? And I'm going to talk about the outcome. I'm specifically talking about Christian McCaffrey. Does that game play out the way that it does with Christian McCaffrey if Debo was in the lineup? If Debo is healthy in the lineup, like how much of what we saw yesterday, particularly because obviously Kyle Shanahan's play calling had to be influenced without one of their primary weapons out. With Debo, if Debo's in that game, is it a little bit different? Can that game happen if Debo Samuel is for Christian McCaffrey? If Debo Samuel is in the lineup,
To be honest with you, I don't know because you think about some of the scoring plays, right? Are they running the ball enough with McCaffrey to set up the pass that they did if Debo's there? I don't know. Is it just maybe they only ran it 2 times with McCaffrey, but just the sheer gravity of who he is would have had people reacting the same way. I don't know. My first thought is no, it wouldn't have been the same game with Debo here. And you never want to see him hurt. I don't ever want to take that opportunity. But maybe this was a bit of a blessing in disguise if we look back on it, 2-3 months from now, where it allowed them to kind of ingrain Christian McCaffrey's game into what the Niners do. So now when Debo comes back, they know they have this in their back pocket as well with Christian to go along with the things that already worked out with Debo. And it just makes them that much more dynamic on the offensive end. Yesterday felt a little different from when usually I'm a little bit more cautious when it comes to players. Even when Christian McCaffrey came to the team and they said he was going to play on Sunday against the Chiefs, I was like, all right, well, what do we really expect from McCaffrey in 3 days? And I know he's here, but he's been, injured before. I was a little bit more cautious, right? After seeing yesterday what he can do and what he can do in this offense, it absolutely has me hyped up for the possibilities of this team. And I tweeted it out last night, and I mean it. I think I said the same thing last year. Just get in the playoffs. I don't care how it happens. I don't care what seed you are. Just get in the playoffs. With this group of playmakers that they have and the defense maybe getting back on track because they flipped the switch in that second half. The defense flipped the switch in that second half. Getting healthier, getting guys back. Just get in the playoffs. I did the math. You got 9 games left. 6-3 absolutely gets you in. 5-4 in the final night might get 5-4 puts you at 9-8. That might even get you in too. So you got about 3 or 4. I think about this in the worst case scenario. You got about 3 or 4 losses to play with.
Is that winning the division?
That is not winning the division. I think it's a wild card. If you're 10-7, you get in the NFC. You may get in at 9-8 as a wild card. I went worst case scenario with all this. Like say Seattle continues to be real and they win the division. If you could get in as a wild card at 9-8.
Okay, I might press you on that a little bit. I'm going to look at some things during the commercial break. You mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo. I want to talk about him as well. We'll touch on a couple of other things that happened in the NFL. We'll continue to talk about this 49ers win. We'll get back to the Kings as well. Want to talk more about De'Aaron Fox. And they got Charlotte coming up in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
We'll dive into all of that as D'Lo and KC continue here. It's a 49ers Monday brought to you by Gilmore Heating, Air, and Plumbing. You get more with Gilmore on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. I'll save it for when we get on the air.
They always do. No.
What did he say?
Yeah, these people be going in on Russ, man. They go in on that, man.
I can't hear you. Is that just me? Oh.
Chill, Tyler. Chill. We don't speak like that over here. We're chill.
Oh, Tyler.
Chill.
Tyler, what are you doing?
Chill. We do not co-sign what Tyler's saying right now.
Did you see LeBron broke up with the Cowboys?
What?
Yeah.
Did he announce this or something?
I guess they did an Instagram live. Him and Mav were doing an Instagram live. And I don't know how it came up. I don't know if it was a fan question or what. Oh, okay. But yeah, he said over the kneeling stuff and the way the organization handled that, he said I can't support him no more.
Okay.
He's riding with the Cleveland Browns now. Just the Cleveland Browns, nobody else. I feel you, Bron. I feel you, bro. I mean, that was like 6 years ago. I don't know if you're just getting announced or making this public, but I'm with you. 49ers worked out a group of wide receivers and defensive backs.
Yeah, yesterday they
including Mohamed Sanu.
For real, Mohamed Sanu? Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah, no disrespect to him, but Willie Snead was
he got cut today.
Yeah. They basically had one receiver. Well, two. I'll give Ray McLeod that too.
Ray. Was that supposed to be this week?
Yeah, we got to find out what's going on with that. Like that can't be the case.
I just don't think they've gotten. That 90s WWE account is comedy.
They almost never miss.
Never. Guys, hit the thumbs up if you haven't already, please. I think we are approaching 200, but if you could, approaching is a generous word, but we're not too far away. We should be able to get there by the end of the break if 27 people just look to their left and just hit the thumbs up right quick. That's all it takes. Just pop. If you're not a subscriber yet, become one. If you're new to the show, I think you'll like us. Unless you don't like Kenny laughing, then you might not. You might not like us. But other than that, we are a good radio program. Good, clean, wholesome fun. No. 7 more. Let's go, baby. Shoot, we should be able to get to 300 by the end of the day. Oh, two. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Live on Odyssey app, live on Twitch and YouTube as well.
Before we get into the other things, I just get into a couple of things that just want to spend a second on real quick.
Yeah, it's your world. I'm here.
First and foremost, big shout out to Sac State going to 8-0 in a thriller. I was watching the game and it was like 24-7 in the third. I was like, they got this. It's good. I wake up the next day.
Yeah.
I see they had to come from behind to get that.
Yeah, I made the same mistake.
Yeah. So
win is a win, baby.
They handle business. And it wasn't against like a screw. I guess Idaho was also undefeated in the Big Sky as well. So this was, it was a legit opponent. They came back. But Sac State handled business. And another thing about Sac State, homecoming weekend was this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw
a really bad day. I picked a really bad day to not go to the Sac State game. Been to 2 in the last 3 weeks. Clearly, I executed this strategy poorly.
I saw some Instagram stories of the parking lot.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's what we doing. That's what Sac State got going on now. For real, for real. One of the videos, I was like, I saw it. I'm not saying it was like Georgia State. Shout out to my guy, Mike, No Chill, Mike Will, Georgia State, whatever. But I saw some videos of one of the homies, and I didn't know they were at Sac State. And I was like, oh, where you go? You go out of town for a homecoming? Like, it's looking lit. They had the cues out there or whatever. I was like, it's like lit.
Like a homecoming.
Come to find out, they was like, yeah, I was at Sac State homecoming. I said, excuse me?
Yeah.
Very
poor planning on the part of D-Lo and KC.
No, next homecoming, we there.
This won't happen again. This will not happen again. So we will not fail you anymore or ourselves.
So there's that. Shout out to the Hornets, Stingers up. Also, I got to give a shout out to our guys over at the Sacramento Republic. Season came to an end on Saturday. Man, extra time, losing 2-1 to Colorado Springs. Yeah. And I just want to give them a big shout out for the summer fall they gave us. Wow. The Republic they were amazing this year. Shout out to our guy Connor over there who showed love all summer and fall, man. Roro, my guy Roro. They created a bunch of new fans. They already had a lot of fans, but they created a bunch of new fans with the ride they took us on this summer, man. So what a season from the Republic. And lastly, one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it just because these are my guys. That was despicable what happened in the hallway in Ann Arbor on Saturday. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
My goodness. So there's a couple things going on. Number one, I don't know why that guy went in there by himself. The Michigan player went in there by himself. That's just a no-no. But like I know things are said and people talk. I mean, they hit the guy with a helmet.
Yeah.
That was disturbing. That was all bad. And that's not what that rivalry should be about or is about.
That's not what any football rivalry.
Any football game. Football game. You know what I mean? So that was I was disappointed to see that on a number of different levels. So that was the weekend.
Yeah, that was super upsetting. That's a tough transition there, but that was super. That's just terrible. That's not what sports are about. That's not what rivalry is about. That's not what college is about. That's just absolutely terrible behavior from everybody involved.
Yeah.
Want to get Will Z's tweeting some things on De'Aaron Fox I want to touch on. But let's wrap up the 49ers here a little bit. Got James Ham coming up about an hour from now. You mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo and wanting to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm actually anxious to hear this. Your thoughts on Jimmy's performance yesterday?
I thought Jimmy was really good yesterday. He was really good yesterday. I was ready to throw Jimmy over the top rope after the misplay in the first quarter, which I thought was a possibly a game-changing play. When he had
both feet hit the floor, would he have been eliminated from the game?
I would have made sure that both feet hit the floor.
Jimmy always Shawn Michaels that joint. Yeah, Jimmy always Shawn Michaels that joint and swings back in.
And look, not to say that
I'd have bulldog over the top rope.
Not to say that I'd have him benched. I ain't saying that, but I thought that was a huge play. Like I thought
Christian
that was
McCaffrey under center.
Well, that was a beautiful throw by Christian McCaffrey. That was about 30 yards down the field. That was hit him in perfect stride. That was phenomenal.
Jimmy's credit, 4 incompletions. Like he did 4 incompletions. Well. Yeah.
I thought he made some really good throws. I thought he made some good decisions. As much as Christian McCaffrey made a phenomenal catch on that touchdown play. What a pass by Jimmy. What a pass by Jimmy. When I thought it was going out of bounds, I didn't think there was anybody who was going to get that. That was a perfect pass by Jimmy. He made another perfect pass on the Kittle touchdown, the drive after that. The one oh no play really was when Jalen Ramsey almost intercepted, which was a huge play on the other end because Jalen Ramsey probably going for a pick six in that situation. I think the Rams were up 14-10 at that time. Niners didn't score, but it kept points off the board for the Rams. But I won't even get on Jimmy for that because I thought that was just a great play by Jalen Ramsey to get into that passing lane and possibly pick that off. That wasn't even a Jimmy, oh no, like what are you thinking? That was just a great play by the defense. So I thought Jimmy played really well. I'm not going to say he played great or anything, but I thought he played really well and he delivered the ball where it needed to be delivered time and time again on Sunday afternoon. And I was, in as much as, people and sometimes myself get on him when he plays bad, you got to keep the same energy when he plays really well. And I thought he played really well yesterday in LA.
When you throw 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions, and you only throw 4 incompletions, that's a solid day's work.
Damn, so I probably should say he played great. I mean, when you break it down like that,
well, I think he played
2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 4 incompletions. Yeah. That's you can't ask for much more. Yeah, can't ask for much more.
That's really good work.
One other thing about that 49ers Rams game, this thing with the 49er fans in LA, like I want to be perfectly clear. That's never going to change. Like that's never going to change. 49er fans are going to be in SoFi forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I was listening
partly because Rams fans are never going to be in SoFi.
No,
partly because Rams fans aren't really a thing.
If you and the reason why I say it's going to be forever, if you can't generate a home field advantage as your team is winning the Super Bowl, and then the next year after they've won the Super Bowl, and you still have this, like, what do you? When is it going to happen? Can you imagine what it's going to look like? Say 2 years from now, if the Rams are like where the Cardinals are right now, and the Niners are good. Yeah. What is SoFi going to look like then? It's going to be like 90%. I met Mayoko for NBC Sports Bay Area. He was just having some fun with it. Vivid Seats said 59% of the tickets sold were to 49er fans. The people who were there was like, it looked a little bit more or whatever. But they said, let's just go with the number of 59%. And I think he did some math. They said it was 73,000 in SoFi. And I think he said 59% of that would be 43,000 of the 73 were 49er fans last night or yesterday.
Goodness.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Goodness. 2 of my favorite stats from yesterday's game, excuse me. 49ers, 3 penalties for a grand total of 8 yards.
Yes. Come on, man.
Not a stat, but a note. Cooper Kupp caught a touchdown pass with 6 minutes and 35 seconds left in the second. The Rams never scored again. That was it. I think they went up 14-7. Is that right? Yeah, they went up 14-7. Never scored again.
Wow.
That was it.
Shout out to D'Amico Ryans in that defense because they were under siege a little bit. They've had two bad weeks on the defensive end, and the first half of this game started off with the Rams just really marching down the field 2 times. They tightened everything up in that second half, shut it down like the defense we've come to expect.
I thought Fred Warner was great yesterday.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
I thought he was.
I love 54, man. I love that dude, man. He is. You talk about a heart and a soul. That's what he is. I love watching him play. He was phenomenal. And then the other thing about that, Niners got away with one. The Rams did not get away with one. Sean McVay, who went close to the end zone again in that first quarter. Did you see that? I was like, what you doing? We doing this again, Sean McVay? We doing this again? You're a little close to that end zone.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do that. But Sean McVay, what are you doing even having Cooper Kupp in the game with like a minute and a half left.
Yeah, that was no good.
Let alone
I
running
didn't
plays
understand
for
that
him like
Yeah.
that ended up getting him hurt. We don't know the severity of the ankle injury, but what are you doing? And I say, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan got away with it a little bit too, because the drive before that, when the game was well in hand, he's running Christian McCaffrey.
Yep.
Like, what are you doing? If you don't get that ball to Jeff Wilson, who was good again yesterday, or Davis Price, if he was active, I'm not sure if he was or not. But what are we doing running Christian McCaffrey when you're up 31-14 with 2 minutes to go?
I have a theory on that, and it's stupid, but I'm going to share it with you. I think the 49ers were trying to score again. Because it's the 49ers, it's the Rams, it's Kyle Shanahan, and it's Sean McVay. I think the 49ers were trying to score again. Same breath, I think the Rams were trying to score. Again, they hadn't scored since midway through the second quarter. I think there's this level of pride where they want to go out there and score. And the only reason I think about this, and I can't get over in my brain how stupid I find this to be, but it's accurate. Sorry to all of the Raider fans out there who were shut out yesterday by the New Orleans Saints.
Wow.
But all the announcers were doing that final drive where the Raiders are moving the ball down the field is talking about how important it is for them to get into the end zone and the momentum it can carry over into next week. I'm sorry, you're taking momentum from a 24-7 loss? What are you talking about? Take a knee and shut up.
Yeah.
You lost, whether it's 24-0 or 24-7. It's an embarrassing loss either way. Don't get somebody hurt. Take a knee and keep it moving. That's what I was thinking about in the 40. These teams are just playing to piss each other off at this point. And like in both cases, in the Christian McCaffrey case and the Kyle Shanahan case, in the Sean McVay case and the Cooper, it's dumb. Just get this game over with.
Yeah.
Get the guys who matter, especially if you're for the 49ers. That injury list is long enough, especially if you're the 49ers. Get these dudes out of the game. Just get through it, keep it moving, get it over with.
Get them out of the game. And if you really want to try and score points or whatever, throw the backups in and try and score points. Not to treat them as sacrificial lambs or anything, but still, like,
well, I mean, someone's got to play, right? So you got to. I mean, and in the Raiders. I'm not crediting the Raiders for anything yesterday.
Oof.
It wasn't Derek Carr that was out there. It wasn't Devontae Adams that was out there. It was they knew it was over, but they had their guys working out there. You could have just taken a knee and gotten this game over with. And for the life of me, I'm going to need a football coach to explain to me how you carry over momentum from a garbage time score in a 24-7 loss. Because they were just adamant that's what was happening. Oh, you don't want that goose egg up there. Okay, so you'd rather lose by 21 than 24? Or you'd rather lose by that's bad math, 14 than 24. Like what are you doing?
What was that? If we got a second, what was that about yesterday? What the hell was that, Las Vegas Raiders? I've championed the Raiders and their talent and what they have and the schedule they have ahead of them. How do you play that game? It's more than just losing. How do you play that game in that situation?
Derek Carr was bad.
This is it. Derek ain't coming back next year, right?
This was bad. Okay. Well, you're listening to D'Lo and KC on KIFM West Sacramento 98.5 FM KRXQ HD2 Sacramento. ESPN 1320, driven by Lashers, Elk Grove Dodge, always live on the very free Odyssey app. You can listen to us anywhere in the world on the Odyssey app. You can listen to us on your smartphone, on your tablet, anywhere on the planet on your Odyssey app.
Yep.
Derek Carr was bad yesterday. Is this it for Derek Carr? Okay. Who's your starting quarterback?
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, okay. It's different.
Raider fans, I want to know, would you take Jimmy Garoppolo right now?
Is sometimes different is better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes different is just different.
That's it. I mean, but we did talk about, like, there's going to be a bunch of openings and a bunch of available quarterbacks.
There are. Half the freaking league is going to be available.
Maybe the Raiders pull a 49ers move and give somebody a Godfather offer to finish higher in the draft so they can take one of these young quarterbacks that are coming, because it's a nice little quarterback class. Hell, I mean, if I was being a jerk, I could say they may not have to trade anything.
That's not being a jerk. That's reality. Because that's not being a jerk. That's reality. That's the other thing. You talk about momentum. You got a solid win against Houston last week, and it carried over into nothing. Absolutely nothing. You opened up at the end of that game to get the 38 points, and it carried over to 0. And you're worried about the Raiders scoring on the final possession in garbage minutes.
Wasn't it a situation where it was like they didn't get into Saints territory till like the fourth quarter?
Oh, it was terrible. Just terrible. They had nothing going for them. Absolutely nothing.
Roddy with
I kept thinking, the Raiders playing, because they didn't. I forgot to flip to the 2 screen, and because they didn't make a single appearance on Red Zone. Like, where are they? Oh, that's why.
Roddy
went to the 2 screen and started watching that nonsense. Like, I don't need to.
Roddy throws it out there. Aaron Rodgers is coming next season.
It's funny that he says Aaron Rodgers, because I was thinking of the other Green Bay quarterback.
Oh,
Jordan Love.
Oh. Whew.
I mean,
which 3 and 5 team are you more confident in, the Bucks or the Packers? This is probably a Tuesday conversation.
The Packers. I'm not feeling the Bucks. I'm not feeling the Packers either. But you're forcing me to pick at gunpoint. I'm picking the Packers.
I love Reynaldo Castro. He brings up a good point. Said the Raiders need Lamar.
Yeah, so no, Jesse noted that. Jesse noted Lamar doesn't have a deal. Lamar is not going anywhere, whether he has a deal or not. They're going to franchise him. He's going to be the new Kirk Cousins.
He ain't going anywhere. And Leezy talking about, how about them 7-0 Eagles? 7-0, best record in football. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. They are really good. Jalen Hurts is balling. They're not going to the Super Bowl. They're going to get upended in the playoffs, and I'll tell you why. Because they will not be challenged this season. Their schedule is so weak. They're not going to play a close game. Then when they get into the playoffs, there's going to be a close game, and they're not going to be ready for it. And I don't want to say they may lose in the second round. I see this coming a mile away.
Well, since we're in before we get back to the Kings, which we will here in just a heartbeat, since we're in the NFC East, the Giants lost yesterday to the individual that I think is the best story in professional football this season.
Great story.
Geno Smith and what he's done in Seattle this year, I don't think there's a story in football better than that one. And the truth be told, Jalen Hurts probably really close.
Yeah.
Because Jalen Hurts was damn near as disrespected as Geno Smith was, just not for nearly as long as Geno Smith was.
Yeah.
And he won his job quickly. Geno, I don't know that he ever got an opportunity to win another job until now. And I don't know if this is a real opportunity for him, but he's making it extremely difficult for the Seattle Seahawks and anyone in the NFL to ignore.
Yeah, man, it is a great story to see Geno prospering the way he is, even if it is with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, he's been through a whole lot in his career. Allegedly, we talk about these things, the Draymond and all this other stuff, Draymond and Jordan Poole, how that doesn't happen in sports too often. Well, it happened to Geno, right? And, for him to go through things like that and to bounce back and have a successful season, like he's not only, his team isn't just winning, he's one of the reasons why. He's playing phenomenal this year, man. And I'm glad to see that for him. I'd love to see it if he led them to a second place season. That would be just as good of a story for me. But either way, it's good to see him, going out there and being able to have this type of moment in his career.
I remember to start. What was it? Was Denver the first? I don't remember if Denver was the first game of the season.
Yeah, it was. It was Russell Wilson.
I remember talking about. I remember talking about Geno, and if like, yo, this is Geno, Seahawks might be okay. And the big ha-has, and I remember Roddy specifically. Oh, he's going to complete 70% of his passes this year. 72.7.
Wow.
8 games into the season.
He's doing his thing, man. He really is doing his thing. And I gotta show some respect for the Seahawks in general. Pete Carroll's doing a phenomenal job with that team. Geno's doing a phenomenal job. They continue to find running backs even after Rashad Penny goes down for the season. They just keep bringing guys in there. And I hate them. I hate the Seahawks. I do.
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing it, man.
They're doing it right now. Story.
Yeah, they're doing it right now.
You got to appreciate this story. Buffalo gets a win against Green Bay last night. That game was ugly, man.
Hit that boy with a concerto.
What? Hey, now Roddy says I said nothing of the sort. Roddy, don't do that. Don't make us pull the receipts, Roddy. Y'all was ha-ha.
I know I was laughing. I was laughing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. And Kenny was laughing too. Man, Bob Salah suffered a loss yesterday from the New England Patriots.
We talk about
that one.
We talk about streaks. I think this is current. You see the streak going on with the Patriots and the Jets? We talk about Rams and Niners. Niners at 8 in the regular season. I think this is current. It's 13.
I was going to say, isn't it double digits? Oh,
13 crazy. Straight for the Patriots over the Jets.
There were some wild football games yesterday. The Dallas-Chicago game was really interesting to watch for a little while. The end to Atlanta and Carolina was insane.
That was the game of the day.
They just showed the DJ Moore touchdown again. And it's, oh man. And then he takes off his helmet, gets the penalty, pushes the extra point back, and instead of winning, you tie.
Man.
Somehow the Washington Commander football team came back and beat the Colts.
Bro, if I'd searched me, they're 4-4.
They are. It feels like they're terrible. Like they're just dreadfully awful.
Did you see?
They're 4-4.
Did you see Heineke's shtick that I laughed at? But he made
the Jordans.
Yeah, he buys a new pair of Jordans for the color of the team that he just beat.
So my smart ass was gonna. I was the way I think it was Schefter worded the tweet. Absolutely made it sound like Heineke spends $120,000 to get a pair of Jordans made every time in the colors of the team that he just beat. And so when I first read the tweet, I was like, does he like buy a bunch of them and donate them, or he's just buying one? I think it was just a poorly worded tweet on Schefter's part because he was trying to reference the bonus that he makes.
Yeah.
Plus what he does with the money. And it just came across as if he's buying $120,000 pair of shoes. We'll come back. We will shift our attention back to the Sacramento Kings. We got James Ham coming up in 45 minutes. We got Kings basketball coming up in under 2 hours. We'll talk more about what De'Aaron Fox is doing as D'Lo and Casey continue on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
13th round on the way. Y'all give me a second. Get this stuff up and going. Hold up. Gotta make sure I'm on the same page. There we go. 13th round with your main man, Kenny Caraway. Shout out to my people over at Meister Watches. Big ups to Ryan, the whole crew over there. Jovan, you already know what it is. Shout out to my man, Don is dope, doing what he do all the time, man, showing love. Shout out to my people over at Jordan Brand, always showing love as well. Saturday night, we had a little bit of a something, a little bit of a something with Vasily Lomachenko taking on Jermaine Ortiz in a lightweight fight. that a lot of people thought Vasily Lomachenko was going to run through Jermaine Ortiz, and it wasn't quite that. To be honest with you, Ortiz, I had him winning the fight for the majority of it. Lomachenko came back, then the final 3, 4, 5 rounds to kind of get a clear win. On my scorecard, I had a 114, but I have no problem with a 115, 113, or even maybe a 116, 112 for Loma. I can understand those for sure. The 117, 111 is actually ridiculous, but we won't get into that. But the thing about it was Loma, who was a great fighter. He's a phenomenal fighter and a phenomenal talent. I think he showed some signs of vulnerability in this fight. He showed some signs that he's gettable. I always thought he was gettable even before the Teofimo Lopez fight, but there is a blueprint to fighting Loma and being able to beat him. If you're the bigger guy, if you're bigger than Loma, which isn't hard in 135 because he's a small 135, but if you're the bigger guy, I think you can find a way to outbox him and really dominate him in the ring. And if you have the power of somebody like a Tank Davis, I think that's another way that you can handle Loma. Jermaine Ortiz had the fight right there for him in his hands, and he just didn't have enough to bring it over the top. But I know Devin Haney, who was in attendance, saw that. I know Shakur Stevenson saw that. And I know Tank Davis saw that. Hell, I know even Ryan Garcia saw that. And they're looking at Loma saying, I can get this guy. And you know what? I don't think they're wrong. But we'll see. That's the 13th round. Did you watch that fight, Jesse? Oh yeah, how was the experience down there? Nice. Oh, it's lit. Yeah. Tunnel Tapia was out there getting the good stuff. Yeah, man, it's always a good time downtown, man. It's good vibes, man. I know it was popping like that on Saturday too with everybody out for Halloween. Oh yeah. For sure. Yeah, man. Yeah, and they just keep growing them. It keeps getting bigger and bigger. Oh, Draymond just got ripped by Plumlee. Watching this game over. Nah, Ramsey, that's very real, Ramsey. I don't know. I don't know. You know, I don't know if it was ring rust or his mind wasn't there. I don't know. He did. I actually felt a little bad for Clay. You think so? He did overdo it. I didn't see. Right. Yeah. I do think Clay overdid it. I do, but I do feel for him when he explained why that hurt him. It's a different psyche, man. I'm sure he's had to go through a lot. So right. And he's the truth. You're not the same player. Does that mean you can't be effective or you can't play in the NBA? No, but you're not the same player you were. It's okay. You'll still be productive. Clay's a little socially awkward.
A little bit. Yeah. A little bit.
I don't know how I feel about this. I'm gonna have to go against my boys this one time. Sac State baseball tweeted out a picture of like a banner in Philadelphia. And it's just, Reese Hoskins is on there, Sacramento stand up. And they say, "Good luck, Reese." I'm like, no. Yeah, no, not good luck, Reese. I mean, I think I hope my guy Reese, goes 3 for 4 with 2 home runs.
Reese Caraway?
Well, that's always the plan for Reese Caraway. We trying to do work this year. This is a big year coming up. Big year. We got work to do. But Reese Hoskins.
Okay.
I hope he does work. But I also hope the Astros win 8-5. I need Dusty to get it. You probably didn't see it. Did you watch the game on Friday night?
Not a single solitary second.
Not a walk-off, but a 9th inning home run for the Phillies. I think the Astros
I saw that
5-0 in that game. Ended up losing 6-5, I think it was. I'm all in on the World Series. I'm watching, especially since the Kings will be about done by the time the Kings game is over. It'll probably be like the 4th inning of the World Series. So I'm all in on the World Series tonight.
I'm not. I thought I would be. I like the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Phillies are a great story. I'm always big into storylines.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Bryce Harper Philly story is great, given the flack that Bryce Harper took for the Nationals winning the year after he leaves,
mm-hmm.
And then obviously the Astros are storylines galore,
right?
And the Dusty Baker story.
Yeah.
So for those all in on the World Series, you can listen to it here on ESPN 1320 immediately following the game.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if it's timing. I don't know what. I was watching basketball Friday.
There was some good basketball.
I'm sitting around watching game 7s. Now, not game 7, but like 7th of 82. I was just sitting around watching games.
It was on Friday night. I'm trying to think because I missed. I think the Blazers played, and you saw. I mean, we talking about apologies. I'm not saying I got to get one yet, but you see how my boy be flying through the air.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see how he be flying through the air?
Mm-hmm.
He gonna be special. I love the rookie we got too, but
I don't think
special.
Yeah, were people claiming that he wasn't going to be?
Oh hell yeah!
Really?
At least in the chatty house.
Well,
people thought I was crazy. People thought I was crazy for being enamored with Shaden the way I was.
That 41-41 was Friday night. Karis LeVert and Donovan Mitchell had 41 each.
Wow.
So I just realized. Sorry, Jesse. My bad, bro. That was against the Celtics.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was against the Celtics. Yeah. I mean, it was a hell of a fight, but man, Donovan Mitchell has been playing some ball.
He's a problem.
Last handful
he's a problem. Donovan is a problem. The Cavs looking nice out there too. Like I said, came back on my Knicks last night. The other thing I watched, this is crazy, man. It really is crazy. I watched the Grizzlies and Jazz on Saturday night. The Jazz won again.
Mm-hmm.
No Ja in that game, but Lauri Markkanen is just.
I think they lost to the Nuggets the night before. I think the Jazz had lost to the Nuggets the night before.
Yeah, because they had 2 losses. So yeah, they lost to the Nuggets. Nuggets lost to the Lakers last night. Lakers, no.
Yeah. The Lakers. The Lakers, the last team to get, couldn't be Sacramento. It was the Lakers, the last team in the league to get a dub.
So everybody's got to win now.
Everybody's got to win. Basketball's fun to watch.
It is.
There's so many great little stories going on out there.
And the league is so good right now.
Your boy, I didn't get to watch this. But I saw the highlights that night and wanted to go back. I saw your boy Trey had himself a little Saturday night against.
I missed that too. They lost though, didn't they? They played somebody.
Yeah, they lost to Giannis,
Milwaukee,
the Bucks.
Milwaukee,
yeah, but he had like 42 or 40. He had 40 something. It's like I gotta go watch this because I think Atlanta's like 5-2, 4-2. Something.
About to check that right now because Giannis is still undefeated. Atlanta's 4-2. Yeah.
4-2. Okay.
Atlanta's 4-2. And the other, there was another good game on Saturday night that I'm currently have on right now in the in-home studio is that Hornets Warriors game.
Yeah, that was good. Hornets won in overtime, right?
Yeah, they were up. They were up, not big, but maybe like 6 or 7 late in the fourth. Warriors stormed back. I saw they went up by like 6 or 7 with about 2 minutes to go. Hornets come back and end up winning in overtime. So,
yeah, Zion returned.
They beat the Clippers. What's going on with the Clippers?
That's it.
Somebody picked them to go first and picked Paul George to go have the MVP. What's up?
You absolutely framed that as if it was me. And for the record, it was not. That wasn't me.
Yeah, they'll get it together. But the Pelicans are.
I'm sure they will.
Pelicans are nice, bro.
They were 2-0. They lost the last 4.
Jeez.
Yeah. They were 2-0. Lost the last 4. Yeah, the Pelicans are nice. Yeah, they're good. Pelicans are good. Suns are good to start. Portland. My bad. Just didn't.
No, my bads yet. No, my bads yet. We're not going there yet.
Okay.
They're playing good basketball, but I think nobody expected them to finish with 20 wins. We ain't saying that, but we didn't think they'd be a playoff team. And I still don't think they'll be a playoff team. It's a great start though. They're playing really well. Chauncey got those boys playing to start off.
Yeah.
No apologies yet, Davion.
I didn't apologize. I said my bad. Not the same thing. We all know that my bad isn't an apology. We know that. On game days, head over to ESPN 1320's website, ESPN1320.net, which is the lamest freaking thing in the world. Why the company doesn't buy .com, I have no idea. But head over to our website. Will Z posts, or just do what everybody else on God's green earth does, and just go to Twitter and find it under Will Z's Twitter portfolio, or ESPN 1320's Twitter profile. Will Z does game previews every game for the Kings, and because I've finally learned how to work the website, we can get these game previews posted for everybody, and we all know the wonderful work that Will Z does. So he's got a preview for today's Kings Hornets game. But I wanted to point out, Will tweeted something a couple of moments ago, like an hour ago, talking about De'Aaron Fox defensively. When Tyler Hero was guarded by De'Aaron Fox, Tyler Hero shot 3 of 8 for 37.5%. When Tyler Hero was guarded by everyone else, he shot 10 of 14, 71.4%. That's the difference that Will Z makes that difference every game. That's the difference De'Aaron Fox made on the defensive end on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, he was a game changer on the defensive end. I mean, we all saw it. We saw the way Tyler Hero was starting to heat up in that fourth. I mean, he was good all throughout the game, but in the fourth quarter, he looked like he was ready to take over. And De'Aaron, like I said, I love to hear, how that came about. If he said it, or if Coach Mike Brown said, no, I'm going to put you on him. But he got on Tyler Hero, and he keeps saying he turned the water off. He turned the water off on a very good offensive player. I'm a big Tyler Hero fan and believer. I think he has a bag, and he had nothing for De'Aaron in that fourth quarter.
Again, you immediately draw your eyes to the amount of points that De'Aaron scored, but man, you look at those things like, you can't really measure his statistical impact on the defensive end in the box score, but then you realize he was also 5 of 5 from the line. He's shooting 81% on the season from there. He was able to find guys. He was really aggressive in the fourth quarter. That was as good of a game as De'Aaron Fox has played in recent memory, and one of the most impactful games. And now I just feel like there's so much goodwill's not the term. There's so much good coming out of this game. that it's a Kings fan, you're almost dreading 4:00 because you're like, oh, how are they going to follow this up against Charlotte?
Yeah.
A team that's capable of scoring 70 or 170. Like, it's a team that legitimately is at all times all over the place.
Yeah.
And has been a home of several Kings heartbreaks within recent years.
Yeah, man. I look at this game, and I talked about it earlier, but I looked at it as an opportunity. Not that, oh, you should win or nothing like that, but it doesn't matter who the opponent is. It really doesn't. You got your first win of the season on Saturday. You get an opportunity now to get yourself back above water a little bit, not above 500, but just, all right, we're here, 2-4, you got another, opportunity on, I think they play on Wednesday or something like that. But you got a chance to just kind of catch your breath, get your feet back under you for this season. If they lose, it's not, oh, well, they can never recover. It's not what I'm saying. But there are little opportunities within a schedule that last year it felt like they never took care of. Like they never took advantage of those opportunities and won those games. This year is the first little opportunity that you have this year. And I want to see how they come out and play. I want to see how they go about taking advantage of this possible opportunity. I think this is I don't want to say a big game. That's why I keep using the word opportunity.
No, it kind of is, though. It kind of is. It's the first. This is their first. Not that San Francisco isn't a road game. It obviously is. This is
not
their
a road trip.
This is their first real road trip of the season. And not only is it your first road trip, it's not like you're going to Portland and you're still on the West Coast. Like your first road trip is to the Eastern time zone. And there is if the struggles for the Kings, like if that schedule's tough. Okay. If we're going to ride that schedule's tough, but in that same vein, then this means the schedule is starting to soften up a little bit.
Right.
And if you believe a lot of the Kings' record right now has to do with their schedule, then we need to see a little bit of a shift here in the next 3 games or so. Not a massive shift, but a little bit of a shift given some of the opponents that they got coming up. I think I'll look right now to be sure. Isn't Charlotte? Yeah, they're 3-3. So it's not like they're going against an 0-6 team here or a 1-5 team. This is a 3-3 club that is Steve Clifford. You kind of know what you're going to get with him. This is going to be a tough afternoon for the Kings.
Yeah, man, it's a team that you mentioned it earlier. They can, you don't really know what you're getting with the Hornets. They might beat the Warriors. They might lose to the Magic. You don't know what the Hornets team you're going to get. So
they've done both.
Yeah, you got to be prepared for whatever comes with that, right? Like the Hornets, assume the best. Assume you're getting the team that beat the Warriors. They came ready to play. Then you look at different injuries they have, whether it's LaMelo or Terry Rozier or Cody Martin, those guys being out. They've had other guys in these at the start of the season that's been able to step up and get them back into it. So
just to give you an idea,
looking at
but before you elaborate on that, just to give you an idea, they blew out the Spurs to start the season. Got beat by the Pelicans. They beat the Hawks. Think we established the Hawks only have 2 losses this year. They beat the Hawks. They were in a fight against the Knicks. They got not only beat by the Magic, they got blown out by the Magic, and then responded by beating the Warriors.
Man.
That's where they are at this point. Literally,
you don't
all
know
over the place,
guys.
Yeah,
you have no clue.
What is it about Kelly Oubre Jr. that got your attention?
He balled out on Saturday against the Warriors. Like he was a shot maker. He was balling, but he's a wild card type player. You know, he has the capability of shooting a team out of a game and being
He's a
cold.
wild card type human being too.
That's the truth.
you talk about someone being all over the place. That's a man, Kelly Oubre, right there.
Absolutely. So he's a guy that can shoot a team out of the game, and he's the type of guy that can essentially win the Hornets a game. So the biggest thing with him is you don't want to get him feeling good about himself. You know, look at him when he's in the game. There's somebody that you want to put the clamps on. You don't want to lose sight of him, because if you lose sight of him and he gets a couple to go through the net, he's the ultimate streaky player. You know, start feeling good about himself, and he'll look like Kobe out there. But if you keep him frustrated, he can also be streaky in that respect, where his frustrations may boil over, turn into bad shots, turn into low percentage shots. So that's a guy with LaMelo out and with Terry Rozier out that I'm looking at, because they may look at him as a guy that's going to get a bunch of shots tonight.
This could be another night where, I mean, they got Plumlee there and our brother PJ Washington.
PJ.
You talk about guys who played well on Saturday. Goodness gracious. Is it fair to think this is a team that, the Kings could work those paint points again?
Yeah, you got Plumlee in there. I don't know.
Is physical? Is he still physical?
He is.
Yeah. Okay.
You got Plumlee in there. I don't know what they're doing necessarily with Kai Jones. They had another guy.
Which one is it? Oh, it's Mason. Okay.
They had another guy that played some minutes for him in the paint that I wasn't familiar with, but I like the way he played a little bit. So they got some guys in there, but I think Sabonis could take advantage of that. I think he could take advantage of those guys inside with just, the fact that he's the ox, right? Those guys are kind of slender. I think he can muscle those guys up a little bit inside.
Yeah.
I also don't know how they defend on the perimeter. So I could see Fox getting into the paint often. Malik Monk, I could see him getting to the paint as well and opening things up that way. So I do think there could be some work to be done in the paint today.
The Kings have been, I mean, even in the Memphis game, they were really aggressive early and trying to not let their, now they may have just been taking it as it was coming to them, but it felt like there was a conscious effort to try to work inside out. Like let's be aggressive. Let's try to get to the basket. Let's try to get higher percentage shots. Let's try to get something at the basket. Against Memphis, Sabonis had a couple of times shots wouldn't drop. Far different case on Saturday against Miami.
Yeah,
I think I'd like to see that trend continue, because I think that opens up things for them so much more on the outside. When
absolutely,
I mean, it doesn't hurt when Kevin Huerter's pulling up for three like 2.5 feet behind the
that one
line.
he hit before the half. I say, is that who he is?
That'll open things up for your offense as well. I just think it could be a little dicey relying on 29-foot.
You wanted that one for a 2-for-1 at the end of the half. I said, is that who you are, Kevin Huerter?
He had a couple of those too, where it wasn't like, oh, it was foot on the line. Like, no, he was back.
And take a quick second to talk about him. He's been as advertised since he got here. I mean, he's a shooter. He's been as advertised.
I go a step further. I think he was better than advertised.
I can believe that.
Maybe I wasn't paying enough attention in Atlanta, or maybe I just let my distaste for the Hawks or whatever override what because I've always liked Kevin Huerter. I liked Kevin Huerter last year.
Yeah.
This version of Kevin Huerter feels so much better than anything that I thought coming in.
Yeah, he is
effective.
He is. He absolutely is, and he's a guy that we talk about with De'Aaron Fox and us, he absolutely can stretch the floor. With the way he shoots, you better respect it.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you leave him open, I talk about it with Keegan Murray. If those feet are set, that shot is wet. That's how I feel with Kevin Huerter right now.
Yeah, he's.
And we also forget about Keegan. Just 22.
No, it's not even that
night.
it's so is Keegan now falling like the 5 games? 4 games for Keegan. 4 games into his career. Has Keegan fallen into the category of that? That's just what we expect.
That's just what we do. Like I expect Keegan to have 17 tonight. 17. What's he averaging on the season? Probably like 18 or something like that.
I don't know. I'll look right now, but that would be my guess. Man, was that the easiest 22? And
it's crazy.
Like, it was just so. It was
number
just
of different
so
ways
simple,
to
just so
score
easy.
too. Like it's not just catch and shoot. Like he's showing
18.8.
18.8. He's finding a way to move without the ball. He score inside, hit the mid range. Has a little running floater that he hit a couple of times. Like, yeah, man, it's just Keegan, just doing what Keegan does. He's a bucket.
Sabonis and De'Aaron are tied for leading the team in assists at 5.6. Sabonis leads the team in rebounds with 9.2. De'Aaron is second with 7.2. Keegan is second in scoring on the team right now at 18.8. Kevin Huerter is third at 16.8.
Another thing from Saturday's game that we didn't talk about that wasn't perfect, but I'll take it. You look at the box score, 72% from the free throw line, 21 of 29. I like the fact though that they got to the line 29 times. Doesn't feel like we see that a lot from the Kings.
Yeah.
Part of it had to do with the fact they got into the bonus relatively early. And actually, for once, they were the team that got into the bonus relatively early. I think in the fourth. Yeah, it wasn't the third. In the fourth quarter. Took advantage of that, knocked down free throws in that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
We're still getting, I know.
Opportunity tonight. It's a big opportunity. Don't let us down. Like they said, he got game.
I know.
Don't blow it.
I still have questions about that second unit, though, that I think we need to.
Maybe the second unit, there are some question marks. That's for sure. I need them to step up, play a little bit better.
Do you just need one? Like randomly, it was Trey Lyles, right? It's not like everyone like Malik Monk wasn't bad, right? No. And we talked about this earlier. Rashawn Holmes was absolutely not bad at all. Mm-hmm. Do you just need one guy to have an impact in the scoring column? Is that enough? Because
I think consistently to be able to get these W's, you probably need 2. Now you only need 1 if you get production out of the starters the way we did on Saturday, because all those guys were. I think Huerter was 27, Fox was 17, Murray 22, Harrison was like 11. I think I can't remember.
11, yeah.
And Sabonis with 18. When they score like that. Collectively, yeah, you only need one guy.
Yeah,
but
4 guys sniffing 20 points.
Yeah, right. So you only need one guy if they're gonna do that.
Okay, let's talk more about this second unit here. We'll talk more about this game coming up. Do we got a call of the game?
Absolutely.
Who's the call of the game presented by?
Presented by nobody.
If you'd like to guess the call of the game and win nothing, like absolutely nothing, call 916-909-1320. You can guess the call of the game, and we'll send you home with nothing.
You guys need to try and guess what the call of the game is.
James Ham joins us next here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. I like the my I don't know I don't know what happened. My app didn't record SmackDown this week. So I read about the Bray Wyatt promo, which I think it ties back into the first one. Like even though there was some realism to it, it's storyline driven, which I like. I like the idea that they're building this into a story. And now we've been introduced to Uncle Howdy. Oh, boy. All right. I'm anxious to see where this goes. Like they're giving us they're like a little slow burn. They're giving us a little piece at a time. Got to be patient. Okay. I'm with it. I'm curious to see where it goes. Like we're getting into that time of year where you want to start building something. So I think you got a month or so to play with it, but you really want to get you want to start getting Bray established leading into December, and then of course January Royal Rumble season, and then into WrestleMania. But I'm curious to see where that story goes. I like it so far, though. I like it a lot. Monk 16 minutes. He's playing more than Davion. Yeah. Oh, John. That would have been a great idea. That would have been a great idea. I didn't even think of that. Oh, that would have been tremendous. Damn it. That would have been tremendous. Uncle Howdy is Barry Windham? I don't think so. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Hold on. I got to check two things. One, just need to make sure Barry Windham is still with us. He is. But he's sick. No. There's no way. Get off the message boards. That can't be right. Barry Windham is one, he's Bray's uncle. Two, he's one of the he was a horseman. He was a great wrestler like in the 80s, like a great performer, but he's like a NWA JCP wrestler, which you probably don't even know what that is. NWA JCP, that was WCW before WCW. Yeah, I heard Kevin Nash tell that story. Yeah, I heard. His son died. That is a horrible story. Yeah, I think 20-something son. Yeah. No, I got you, Joe. I just ain't buying that. I can't see Hunter going, yeah, let's get Barry Windham in here. Not that I have a. Again, Barry Windham is 62 years old. Like, come on. He was the stalker. See, now that I like. Maybe not necessarily as Uncle Howdy, but you've got to get Bo Dallas involved. You got to. By the way, I told Jesse this earlier. You know that there's that channel that airs Impact Wrestling. I was watching some, like, they had like a collection of Mick Foley matches in TNA. Oh, dude, they're so bad. They're so awful. It's just Mick like taking unprotected chair shots and garbage can shots to the head and getting choke slam on like tables with barbed wire on it. It's like, Al? Oh, okay. All right. This is a big moment. James Ham coming up in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We got the call of the game coming up here. And we got Al on the line, 916-909-1320 for a chance to win absolutely nothing.
Let's go, Al.
Al wants to guess the call of the game. Al, what do you got?
Yo, guys, thanks for having me on. Love the Kings talk.
We love you too, Al.
Props to the announcer for the Keegan calls, because he get the first start last week. He was yelling, Keegan Murray. His last game, he just yelled, Keegan. Then the crowd would go crazy with the Murray.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's pretty cool. Shout out Scott Moak, man. That's Scott Moak doing his thing. Yeah. Absolutely.
But, so I didn't catch the radio call. I was at the game. But the dunk Sabonis had on somebody's head, I think it was Strauss, that was sick. That was my guess for call of the game.
Well, Al, let's see if you are correct.
And being on the floor and being put in that position.
Nice little. Oh my God! That was a hammer from Sabonis.
Look at Al. Look at Al.
Congratulations. The call of the game brought to you by nobody has resulted in you guessing the call of the game correctly and winning absolutely nothing. Thank you, Al.
He won our respect and admiration.
Jesse, make sure that you get Al's address so we can send him nothing.
It ain't gonna be like this forever, guys. Trust me, it ain't gonna be like this forever.
I'm beginning to wonder if your company would like to sponsor our call of the game. Contact Rich Ripley at rich.ripley@odyssey.com. Again, that's rich.ripley@odyssey.com. And your wonderful business can be associated with the #1 sports talk radio show in this market. And probably on this planet. That's not verified, but it's definitely it's that in our head. It's on this planet. It's like us and Pat McAfee.
That's it. Us, Pat McAfee, and Joe Budden. That's it.
One, 2, and 3. Right there.
There you go. But yeah, that was that. Did you remember that play when Sabonis throw it down, big man?
Of course I do. You know, my first thought was, I feel like the Kings have been getting above the rim a little bit this season. Like there's been a little bit more. I mean, was it? It might have been you. I can't remember who it was, but talking about Sabonis being a little too. I feel like Olivia brought it up too, like Sabonis being a little too trying to use the touch at the rim instead of dunk it,
throw it down, bring the hammer.
He
took it. He had about 2 or 3 dunks on Saturday.
So there have been a couple, like with the Kentucky connection alley-oops. It's just unfortunate that the wins have not been there.
Right.
You have the Kentucky connection on back-to-back plays or back-to-back-ish plays, and then this is remembered for the wrong reasons. But Terrence Davis, first game of the season, like De'Aaron had a little it's like a little mini dunk against the Clippers, but it was him getting to the basket in the half court and getting above the rim. It wasn't like super aggression, but he got up and it wasn't ruthless aggression. He got up there, grabbed the rim, got the ball in. I mean, they've had those moments, and to me, dunking is when you're able to do that's a level of aggressiveness.
Absolutely.
We just saw it pay off for the first time on Saturday. That's all.
Yeah, man. I love to see it. I love to see these guys looking to bring the house down. With the dunk sometimes. Like that's the mentality of it.
That's what those alley-oops did.
Yeah,
you could have laid it up, both of those, but like you set the arena on fire with those.
Absolutely. Does it win you a game? No, I'm not saying that. Is it any more than a regular?
Only worth 2 points, Kenny. Come on, Kenny. Fundamental. Stop being a showboat.
But man, they could change momentum, and I thought they changed momentum on Thursday. They didn't. But it also can speak to the mentality. Like Sabonis was like, enough with this little soft touch and if I get the ball around the paint, I'm throwing it down. If you're in my way, I may take your head off. So be it. Love that. Love it.
Yeah.
So happy for Al.
Al, you know what? We're going to overnight this to you also, Al, so it'll arrive at your door tomorrow. As a matter of fact, Al, this is Amazon Prime. Like, we'll get that joint to you in 2 hours.
Al, call back tomorrow. Let us know if it fits.
As a matter of fact, Al, just open your front door right now and look. It's there. Absolutely nothing is right there waiting for you.
We're working on it, Al, and everybody like Al. One of these days, it's not going to be that way. One of these days.
That's what we keep telling ourselves. Just wake up going, this will be it. We spent 2 hours with the we went to the party on Friday.
We did go to the party.
I mean, what was left of the party on Friday. And I guess that was the lit part. That was like, it was when the show ended on Friday. James is going to join us here in a heartbeat. When the show ended on Friday, and we went out and visited our wonderful coworkers. It was probably about 30 minutes later. That's like the equivalent of the lights at the club coming on. And, for me, that's very much I got to get out of here. Everyone was very, very comfortable by that time of day. Yeah, they was ready to go to the next spot.
Yeah, they was already talking about the after party.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, I'm going home. I appreciate you. I'm gonna go feed my dog and take her for a walk and do what I do. But y'all go ahead and enjoy the next spot that you're going to. And it's quite the. I guess all HR rules go out the door when you're at a Halloween party. There's some interesting things that happened over the course of that hour 20, hour 30 minutes or so.
Man. Yeah, it's just. Hey, shout out to the Mexican food they had there. Tacos was good. Shout out to the cupcakes. Them things was delicious.
Wouldn't know.
And I went to town on the Snickers.
Oh my God. You should have seen Kenny's plate as we're getting ready to leave. This dude, he's got like remnants of like tacos and chips and multiple like cupcake wrappers on his plate. And on top of all of that are at least 4,
yeah, it was
5
about
mini.
Yeah, man. That's why I don't keep those things in my house. Those things will be gone. Them little mini Snickers are like sunflower seeds. Like you just throw them in your mouth, they're gone.
I said, bro, is that you? Or are you cleaning up? No, that was me.
I'll tell you, man. Them little Snickers, man.
Did you sit over there? Because I'm going to explain why in a second. You were sitting with all of the party broke off into 2 parts.
Yeah.
Kenny was with all of the guys.
Yeah.
And I was with all of the ladies. Now, I'm going to explain why in a second.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
In my head, what I envisioned was you and Rich.Ripley at Odyssey.com.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Eric too, who was talking
about sports.
Yeah.
Okay. I was done at that point. It was 4:30 on a Friday, and I knew, who's not gonna want to talk about sports? Katie from the Wake Up Call. That's who I'm going to talk to today. I'm going to talk to Katie from the Wake Up Call. I'm going to talk to Justine and anyone else who wants to come sit down and talk, because I know life. I'm not going to have to talk about the Kings or the 49ers or the World Series.
No, yeah, we talked about it all. Actually, we were talking about my dream scenario, which, man, they killed my dreams over the weekend when I talked about Coach Prime coming to Sac State for the playoff game. They killed my dreams when they say it's impossible because the SWAC and I forgot the other league. They do their own thing in the postseason. They don't travel.
That's a damn shame. Let's bring in James Ham. James Ham is looking absolutely exceptional on the live stream today. Our 1320 Kings insider, James Ham. We're just about an hour away from Kings basketball. You're listening to D-Lo and KC on KIFM West Sacramento, 98.5 FM. KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, ESPN 1320, driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge, always alive on the free Odyssey app. Hammer, where would you rank that performance from De'Aaron Fox on Saturday in the 6 years he's been in the league?
It was a good one. Yeah. I mean, he's changing his focus. His defense has been great most of the season. He's allowed a couple of blow-bys, but overall, I think he's been really good defensively. He's asked to take on tough covers in crucial moments of games. The rebounding numbers were just absolutely spectacular. 13 rebounds, a career high. Did the shots go down? No, especially in the fourth quarter. I think he missed the last 4 or 5 shots he took, but it shows you that if he does the other things, which Mike Brown has been preaching to him, that the scoring is what they expect. The way they win is for him to do the other stuff. And I think it's really, really smart that Mike Brown is pitching it that way, but also that De'Aaron is kind of embracing it and living up to it and taking on the challenge each and every night. Now they just need to string some wins together.
And the thing about it too, Hammer, that kind of, I don't want to say I like, because that would maybe imply that I don't care about him playing defense throughout the game, which I do. Like, I want him to play defense as much as possible throughout the game. But let's just take Saturday, for example. I don't think he would have been guarding Tyler Hero for all 35 minutes he was in the game and asking him to play that type of defense and score 20-something points. And like, that's not it. But I do like the fact that it's another wrinkle to his game where, maybe he's, somewhere else defensively throughout the game. But in the final 5-6 minutes, if there's a guard that's starting to go off, all right, let me guard him, coach. Let me get out there and let me take that challenge to kind of close the game. I like that aspect of it as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what has to happen for this team to get over the hump. I'd like to tell you that they can run Davion Mitchell out there and have him kind of step into that role and shut down somebody. But at this point, Davion's kind of all over the board and seems lost in what's happening in what they're trying to do as a team. And so I think it's going to be on the starters. Mike Brown has talked about this a couple of times throughout camp, that when he was a young coach, that he had like an 8-man rotation. That's it. Like, these 8 players are playing. The other 7 guys are break glass in case of emergency type players. And he's trying to get away from that. But this team in particular keeps drawing him back to that. Like, it's really hard for him not to just play the main core guys and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Why? Oh. It is really close. We'll have to go to the tape to determine if that feels like a Tyson Douglas, like late start to the count. Like that's a tough one, because I just thought James was giving us a short answer. In my head, I'm thinking, God, what's James' problem? Give us short answers.
I don't give short answers, and I wasn't even answering your question. I took it somewhere totally different.
Well, we'll continue, because the when I thought you had stopped the question, I was going to ask you what is the issue? What do you think is the issue with Davion right now?
I'm not sure, because it's we have this all-in mentality, right? I wrote about it on Sunday. Mike Brown's been preaching it. They made T-shirts. They want the Kings all in, everyone all in. They signed this giant poster on the wall that is some proclamation that we've never seen, but that basically says that it doesn't matter what happens with your playing time or your spot in the rotation or anything else. That you need to be all in, and we're teammates, and we're going to do this together. I just, when you watch him, it's really like the old, Sesame Street. Like, 3 of these kids are doing the same thing, and one of these kids is doing his own thing, and you're just sitting there watching him dribble and dribble and dribble, and then other players start to dribble because now he's got them in a position where the clock is ticking and they've got to make something happen. And it seems like a lack of understanding of the concepts, or a refusal to accept the concepts. And I'm not sure which. He's a hard worker. He's a guy who wants to be great and all that stuff. But you're playing behind a point guard who's averaging 27.8 points and 7.2 rebounds and 5.3 assists, or whatever it is. You're playing behind an all-star, basically. Whether he makes it or not, you're playing behind an all-star quality player. and you're fighting for minutes. And right now, he's getting whatever De'Aaron Fox isn't playing, and that wasn't the plan coming in. The plan was for him to play a lot more minutes in this and to really hold down the fort as a defensive stopper. A lot like how we saw Gary Payton play for the Warriors the last couple of years or last season. Like that's what I think that they envisioned for him. And it just like super early, you can see that he's not in the flow. He's not in what everyone else is doing. And it stands out because you have everyone kind of moving and moving and moving and him just pounding the rock. And at some point he's got to figure it out or he's going to play even less. And I get it. It's difficult. Not only is he playing with new players, but he's being asked to play off the ball even more than he was before with Monk taking over more of a distributor role. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. You got to get in there and you know, this is an opportunity and you got to take advantage of it if you're a young player.
If you were talking to Davion Mitchell right now, what would you say you want to see him focus on to do the most that he can with the minutes that he gets? Like, would you say just focus on D, focus on moving the ball? Like, what would your advice to him be?
No, my advice would be very specific. Watch the game that's unfolding in front of you. Follow a guy like Kevin Huerter. Watch his motion. Watch where he goes. Watch how he uses a screen. Watch how he gets open and plays without the ball. And then go out there and emulate that. Like we already know, it's kind of like Fox. We already know you're going to be a good defensive player. That's not what the problem is. We need you to fit in on both ends of the court. And, you know, I know Davion wants to be more than just a defensive player, but to me, that's what it comes down to. You know, it's why it sticks out. You're basically doing, it becomes almost like a 4 flat because he's just like doing stuff that the other guys are like, we can't play off you when you're doing this. That's not what we're supposed to be doing. We can't play off of you. We need you to do something different. And again, maybe it's a young player thing. Maybe it's just like a stubbornness to embrace what the offensive scheme is, which is not built for a guy like him. But I think he can be an exceptional off-ball shooter. Like I still wonder, like they made adjustments to his shot. It was too flat when he was coming in, and now it's really coming out high, and I don't understand a lot of what's happening there. But you know, I still think this is a player who, you know.
That is official. That is an official freeze. James Ham is frozen. We're going. James Ham going for a triple double here today.
Jeez.
James Ham going for Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Going for the trifecta.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get all 3 of them in. Yeah.
By the way, for the radio audience, James froze in spectacular fashion on Friday the moment the show ended. It was really sneaky incredible that it's just the show goes off and James freezes.
The one thing I will say, though, about what James was talking about with Davion Mitchell, it does kind of feel like he's in that zone. You've seen it from young players where they're trying to find out who they are in this league. And I think that's more so what it is with Davion. What's going to be the thing that I can lean on every single night that's going to keep me in the league for 7 to 10 years? And I don't know if there's a struggle with Davion where he knows he can play defense, but he wants to do more. I don't know, but he's trying to find exactly, this is who I am in this league, and I'm going to embrace it and be a star at my role, as Bill Belichick would play. And it's not uncommon for, like you've mentioned, James, before, a number of different young players in this league. Sometimes it takes them 3-4 years to figure out who they are to be able to stay in this league. And once they find out, then they can take it to the next level.
I totally agree. I think one of the worst parts about it, though, is that if he just does what he's supposed to do within the offense, then he will be rewarded by getting more and more and more. So what he's trying to do feels forced, like almost every time. And it feels forced, again, because everyone else is doing something different than him. And so it's collapsing the lanes. It's not giving him the room to work that you would, that he needs. And it really, it's tough to watch sometimes, but it's not like he's the only one. I mean, we've seen struggles from Chimezie Metu. We've seen struggles from Harrison Barnes trying to figure out how he fits into this whole thing. And, of the 5 games, what Harrison Barnes has had, one 20-point game, one game where he really looked good late in the game and came to the rescue, which was this last game. But the other 3 games weren't good at all. We're seeing Rashawn Holmes really struggle to find who and what he is on this team. I thought he was exceptional against Bam late. I thought, he really stepped in defensively. But on the offensive end, he's totally lost. And I don't blame him for being lost, because this isn't an offense that he's used to running and being part of, and they're not doing some of the things that help him become really good. But if you just watch the players that are on the court and what they're doing, it should be pretty simple. Again, Kevin Huerter isn't lost at all. I mean, that guy's a flamethrower. And if you can't watch what he's doing and learn and take in from it and just look at how he's moving off of screens, even if you can't shoot like him, you can still get open like him. You can still move and keep the spacing for others like he's doing. And again, one of the things that I always point to is when if someone is really struggling, or maybe struggling with who and what they are and what's happening, is when they look over and they see their man about to check into the game, and before that can happen, they make sure they get one more shot up. And that's always a sign of like, okay, man, what are we chasing here? Like, because that's not, if it was the right shot, that's fine, but it doesn't feel like it's the right shot. And, he's got some figuring out to do, and that happens with young players.
You caught my attention a second ago when you said this is a new offense that's maybe not doing what helps Davion offensively. What does Davion need offensively?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, the problem that I have with this is that he's a guy who played with multiple point guards at the college level, right? So we can't say that he doesn't know how to play off ball. He does know how to play off ball. I mean, it just is what it is. At Baylor, I think they had 3 point guards starting, with him being one of them. So he didn't always have the ball in his hands, but there's a difference between being a lead guard that always has the ball in your hands and being a guard in a motion offense like this. Like, you've got to, it's the 0.5, right? We keep hearing this, Mike Brown, is one of his basic tenets, 0.5. And people are like, what does 0.5 mean? And that means that you need to mentally make a decision about what's going to happen within 0.5 seconds of you touching the ball. That's it. And there is no 3 seconds. There is no 7 or 8 dribbles. None of that. You need to make your decision within 0.5 of a second and move on. You have the ball, you're either shooting it or you're moving it to the next guy. And that's kind of what they have to get used to. That's what he has to get used to. It's the thought process is quicker. And I'll tell you, the same thing with Rashawn Holmes is having a difficult time because he's not showing up to go set the screen until way too late. And so where you're seeing, Sabonis come right down the floor, get into the offense, and instantly start setting screens, Holmes will run down into the block and then start meandering up to the top of the key. Again, the 0.5 seconds has already happened. We're now at 3 seconds, and the shot clock is ticking, and you haven't got us into the offense. And so these are the things that some of these players need to pick up on, that they're just not getting into the standard, regular offense this team is trying to do early enough, or even on the defensive end, they're making some of the same mistakes. It's all about reading and reacting. It's great that Davion is fighting through every screen and jumping these routes and all that stuff. But sometimes that's not what the play calls for. Sometimes you need to switch. Sometimes you need to go one way because your guy's already switched over. And now all of a sudden we got a guy who's running loose because you're trying to jump through every screen like crazy people. And so, yeah, I just think he's trying really hard. And I think a lot of times when players do that, you start to see it. And I think he'll be okay. I just think it's going to take a little while for him to get comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. Well, one of the other things about it, though, James, because I completely understand what you're saying, where you play well, that's how you're going to get, your minutes, by going out there and essentially forcing the coaches to keep you in the game, right? Like I can't take Davion out. He's playing so well right now. But I also think about this. Where, in your opinion, where would those minutes come from? Because he's not getting them from Fox. He's not getting them from Herter. He's not going to get them. Maybe it's from Harrison, but then you get into Keegan and Sabonis, and that's out of his, his weight class, so to speak. Where would those minutes even come from? Like, I think a part of it has to be like, hey, just play well. Like, I'm not even going to guarantee you if you play well, you're going to get more minutes, but just play well right now, and things will work out the way they're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the minutes come from. Again, I thought coming into the season he would schedule to probably play 22 to 24 minutes per game, and that's not the case at all. I mean, we talked about this a little bit. I still think that there's a weirdness when this team breaks from the groups that had played together. Like, we have the 5 guys who are starters who have played together. When that is kind of upset when you add 2 to 3 guys in, like, everybody looks like they haven't really played together very much. And so, again, these are things where we always talk about it. It's just they need more time in the pot to simmer. And I know some people go, well, how come it's working so quickly with Utah? Like, look, I haven't looked at Utah's schedule. I haven't broken down, like, why it is that they've won the way that they have. It just works out that way sometimes. It's not like the Kings are going out and getting just absolutely blasted by teams. The only game that really didn't feel like it was all that close is the Memphis game. The Warriors game was clunky and weird, and I don't know how to even assess that game. But the other 3 games have been really tight games, really competitive, really hard fought. And if you would have hit free throws in the first 2 games, this team could be 3-2, like, very easily. So I think that, like, the panic button shouldn't be hit, not yet. Give this team time, and let's see where they are at the 20-game mark, at the 30-game mark, and then let's see if they have to, at that point, make major adjustments or start playing for something different.
How do you feel about, just by the way, for those who are just tuning in and don't know this and are only listening to James's voice, the Kings actually did win on Saturday.
Yeah.
What did you think of what did you think of the rotations on Saturday? Because that was a big discussion with us on Friday.
Yeah, I thought that they were tighter. Like, I think the players that you thought coming into the season that would play heavy minutes played heavy minutes, and I think the only reason we saw some variance on that was because Sabonis just, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know what the officials are doing with Sabonis, but I'm watching him get held and beat on and then touch fouls. Like, how many touch fouls of his 6 would normally not be called at all? Just really strange to me, the way that he's being officiated. And I know it's not because he's known as, like, a dirty player or something. He's hard. He's a hard-nosed player that, gets in there and gets physical, but it just feels like he's getting sent to the bench so often by the officials. Yeah. And so that's hard to watch, but, like, if we take out that, I think the rotation would have looked even different. It would have looked a lot different. I don't think you would have we would have seen all the mixes and matches that we did see. I think that
probably wouldn't have seen Alex Len.
No, we wouldn't have seen Alex Len. Yeah. And I'd also say this: Trey Lyles should be in the rotation. Like, again, until you stop making mistakes and until you're able to build on something and really get this offensive scheme down, I will take Trey Lyles over your guy, Terrence Davis, like, every step of the way. And it's not because I think he's a better player than Terrence Davis. It's because right now he is stability. He's a guy that when you put him in there, it's almost like when you drop in Keegan Murray, you feel this calmness and there is no panic. There is no, like, huge mistake coming. when you put in Trey Lyles, you feel the same way. He may not do, I mean, he's not going to score like Keegan Murray, but he's also not going to make a bunch of mistakes, and he's not going to cost you. And I thought it was interesting, even in that game, man, they had Trey Lyles defending Jimmy Butler. Like, I thought, I was like, holy cow, he's defending Jimmy Butler for stretches. Like, that guy has an ability to just be calm and just be a high basketball IQ player who fits into the system, and you can keep rolling. And I think when they get away from that and they start, like, again, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, Terrence Davis might be a better player to put in this offense when it's rolling, when it feels more comfortable, when everybody knows what's happening and can play off of each other, and they're starting to build, sort of like the second and third and fourth option off of each play that they have. Then you can start getting more creative. But for right now, when things are, a little clunky, a little all over the place, a guy like Trey Lyles to me makes perfect sense. So I would keep playing Trey. I would keep feeding minutes to Malik Monk, because even if his shot's not going down, he's really been exceptional as a secondary playmaker. I would play Kevin Huerter until the wheels fall off, and I would put him more at the 3. Give him and Monk and Fox some more time together. So again, I wouldn't expand the rotation. I would narrow the rotation to the 8.5 guys that we've talked about in the past, and really focus on that group and try to get everything right, and then start peppering in these other guys and give them a shot to, kind of fill a different type of role.
Yeah, man, I like Trey Lyles. I like what he brings to the table. I think he's a guy that, like you mentioned, James, he doesn't take a whole lot off the table. Is he spectacular? No, he's not a spectacular guy, but somebody's double teaming or somebody's helping off. Trey Lyles got an open shot. I feel confident that he's able to knock that down on a routine basis. I feel confident that he's going to get in there and at least fight on the boards, if not outright get rebounds. Like you say, he doesn't take a whole lot off the table. And I don't know where those minutes come from. It seems like on Saturday it came from Terrence Davis. I don't know if maybe they continue to come from Terrence Davis or they come a little bit from Harrison Barnes or whatever the case may be. But I agree. Trey Lyles should be in this rotation. I think he is absolutely one of the Kings' best 7 to 8 players.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because that means that someone else is out of the rotation. And I get it. And again, it's a long season. You're going to need time for specific guys. You're going to have moments where you need more scoring punch, or you need more flexibility as a defender and things like that. But for right now, man, I would even use Trey as like a small ball 5 in a lot of situations. Like, this team has got into situations multiple times where their opponent goes small and then they're still trying to go big, or they're still trying to fit guys in that maybe don't fit the style of play that's happening on the court. And I think Lyles is a guy that can, again, it's not going to be spectacular, but that's not what you're looking for from him. And Trey has accepted the role, and it's kind of like what we talk about with, some of these other guys that aren't fitting in. Like, the reason why Trey's fitting in is because he understands what his role is on that team, and he's not going to fight it. He's not going to go try to do something that's outside of who he is. And again, it's a lot like what we're seeing with Huerter. Herter's doing the same thing he's always done. He's just getting more shots and getting more opportunity because that's this offense. And he's just flourishing. I mean, he's shooting 54% from 3. It's absolutely crazy. And we're talking about 8 attempts a game. I mean, a guy goes 7 of 8 from 3. Like, just keep shooting it. And so I really like some of the things that are happening, and we're slowly starting to see these pieces fit together. And we still haven't yet seen all of them fit together in one game. And that's going to happen. And that's when this team, you're really going to go, okay, now I see the outline of what it's supposed to be.
What happened in the third quarter? We were talking about that earlier, and it felt like they got comfortable and just kind of, they weren't crisp anymore. The things that were leading to guys being open, they were just kind of throwing the ball around. They were extremely comfortable coming out of halftime. And obviously, Miami's a great basketball team. They made adjustments as well. Eric Spoelstra made adjustments. Those guys were really aggressive. That combined with kind of the lax effort from the Kings resulted in that 6-minute stretch where the game got uncomfortably close for Kings fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question, but again, remember that Mike Brown is just getting used to this team, and he's got to figure out a way to fire these guys up coming out of halftime, because that's what I saw. It was the first minute of the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. I jokingly said when I walked to my seat, I walked by Brendan and Frankie and some of the other guys, I'm like, what was it, 22-point halftime lead? I said, what, Heat by 3? And on my way to my seat. And then they're like, oh, you jinxed them. And I'm like, look, this team does not know how to come out of a third quarter and put a statement. And it didn't help that as soon as you tried to put your stamp on the game, that Sabonis just gets called for 2 or 3 cheapies. And you're like, what in the world? Who is officiating this game? And why is, I still don't understand the replay system, why they can't give more than one. If you're right the first time, you should get a second one. And if you're right on your first 2, you should probably get a third. It's about getting it right. It's not about embarrassing somebody. How many times did it feel like they got something wrong in that game?
A lot.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything involving Sabonis. Everything involving Sabonis was wrong.
Yeah, you just kept turning your head. And I found this season, the first quarters feel like they're taking 45 minutes. What is going on? And you look up and, both teams are already, they're in the bonus, but they've already shot 8 to 10 free throws in the first quarter. And just who told you guys that fans were coming out to see you? Nobody wants to hear from you. Let the game play, let the action happen. If something's egregious, if something keeps happening, that's one thing. But then the flip side is you turn around and De'Aaron Fox is number 2 or number 3 in the league in shots at the rim, and he's averaging 4.4 free throws per game, which is so far below what he should be averaging. And even that doesn't make any sense. So it really does feel like it's lopsided most of the time. And I get why the fans are always on the officials completely. This season specifically feels like they're taking the flow out of the game and really making the game not fun to watch early in it.
Yeah. I'm with Mrs. Mac-10. She says you should get your challenge back and an apology. I think when the referee turns on the microphone, they should go, hey, sorry, coach.
My bad.
Yeah. Sorry, coach. You get your challenge back and a sincerest apology from our officiating crew. Yeah. We'll talk more Kings basketball. So the Kings get their first win over the weekend, Saturday afternoon at the Golden One Center against Miami, and then they had to hop on a plane for their first real road trip of the season. They've got the Charlotte Hornets coming up in about 30 minutes. We'll talk to James Ham about that game when we return here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320. How was your weekend, Hammer?
It's good. I mean, the early games, that's nice. Get out of there, get home.
Yeah.
Get to spend some time with family. Sunday's my football day with my son. I mean, the whole family's here, but me and my son primarily sit in the bar and watch football from start to finish. Yeah.
It was 37-0, Kenny. The actual score is 37-0. Patriots to 49ers tweets. And I think if you go Patriots, 49ers, Kings, it's 37-0-1.
Come on, man.
Those are tweets from your local sports leader, as they are now dubbing themselves, James.
Bro, that's crazy.
They're calling themselves local sports leader?
I received a call on Friday night to tell me that was, or not Friday night, Saturday night, to tell me that was a promo that they had built out and put on the radio.
Like the sports leader?
Very similar. We're apparently Sacramento sports leader and local sports leader.
And what?
That's a great question.
Like, I mean, this is based on Well, I mean, I guess at this point,
Imagination, James, maybe based on
guess-
imagination.
I guess at this point, like in our society, you don't have to have anything backing anything up, so you can just throw shit against the wall and see if it sticks.
Pretty much.
Sorry about that, folks, but yeah. Let's see. People ask, "How is my fantasy team?" My fantasy football team is going spectacular. We have improved to 6-2. My fantasy basketball team is absolutely trash, but my goal is I don't care who I'm playing, as long as I beat one person every week, they can suck it, because my team is bad. My keepers were bad that I inherited. It's not pleasant at all.
Fantasy basketball is kind of whack.
I haven't played it in like 25 years, so.
Neither have I. I've tried it one time. I didn't like the experience. I never went back.
Yeah.
Back.
We survived our Mahomes bye week and scored like 120 points this week. We had a good week. And our highest scorer was, we picked up Taylor Heineke and he put up like 20.88. So that was our highest. So everyone just like chipped in. It was good to see.
Corey's asking, how good are the Yeti cups? Honestly, bro, I think they're a gimmick. I think you could get a cup off Amazon for like a quarter of the price and get the same thing.
I get the Costco cups, the big silver tankers, and they always seem to be just fine.
Yeah.
What are Yeti cups?
I think it's a gimmick, huh?
What are Yeti cups?
They're supposed to keep your ice frozen and your drink cold or hot or whatever. I honestly think any cup made like this is going to do that. It's a gimmick.
I have a Contigo, and those things work pretty damn good.
Somebody asked who my keepers, Curtis, my keepers in this fantasy basketball league that I was asked by a group of fans to join were Chris Middleton, out, Anthony Davis, mentally checked out, and Fred VanVleet. I did have the first pick in the draft, but it's a 14-man league, which means I got Jaylen Brown and then had to wait for like 72 hours before I got to choose again. And by that point, I'm scraping the barrel.
Wait a minute. Because it's a keeper league. I'm about to say Jaylen Brown was your first pick?
No, but he didn't get kept, which I was slightly surprised. Yeah, it's going to be a rough season. Yeah. I did have to waive Josh Primo. I'm sure I could change my name to something creative at this point. I just got in this fantasy league. Again, I haven't played forever. My fantasy football league, this is, Cogis 831. My main fantasy football league has been, I think this was year 30. So
just call him Albert.
We've had that league forever. We've actually, over the course of our league, we've had two. It's been around so long. We've had two people pass away.
Oh man!
I mean, the league is
stay out of that league.
The league is 30 years old.
Man, told you, fantasy football will kill you. Jesus, James.
Oh, look who it is, Derrick Jones Jr. I always like Derrick Jones.
Yeah, me too.
There should be a pregame show on by now, shouldn't there? Yep.
You
pregame live. Oh, this is soccer. What is going on?
Somebody said the game wasn't going to be on today due to soccer. I said, I don't know.
There ain't no way that's the truth. They are not airing Premier League or whatever this is.
I would point out, though, I'm not sure how you're going to do pre- and post-game interviews with no media. And
yeah, that'll be interesting.
And we no longer have Zoom because that's a decision by somebody.
How about this Kings pregame live? Bang, got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
There's like 10 NBC Sports Californias. I don't know which one to pick. One of those commercials, huh, Jesse?
Baseball on today.
Glad to see this was addressed.
Playing fantasy Queen Elizabeth and Betty White. Thanks, Rich could be anywhere. Chris, you're asking what do I mean by no media? I mean, no one is traveling.
Hold on, James.
All right.
You know, the best part about the producer camera is when I get agitated, I can see Jesse laughing at me now. Jesse knows I'm agitated about something, and I could just see him in the studio laughing. That's the great part about our setup. As he turns his studio camera off, we welcome you back here, D-Lo and KC, along with 1320 Kings insider James Ham. Kings basketball coming up.
I was about to say de facto pregame show here.
That's it, man. It's been a 4-hour pregame show with a little 49ers and NFL action mixed in as we've got Kings basketball coming up 25 minutes from now, James. It's the Kings versus Charlotte. Been some memorable matchups against Charlotte in recent years. Some memorable outcomes against the Hornets in recent years. But here the Hornets are, sitting at 3-3 with some guys who can pose some problems for the Kings. One thing that I really liked coming out of Saturday's game, James, besides the W, when you dig a little bit deeper into the numbers, Kings had 20 points in the paint in the first quarter. They finished with 52. They won the points in the paint battle for just the second time this year. They did it against Golden State. Of course, that stat doesn't matter when the other team hits 1 billion three-pointers. But Kenny and I were kind of looking at this Charlotte team like, all right, you got Plumlee, got PJ Washington, who played really, really well the other night. Like, this is a team that Sacramento could potentially be physical with down in the restricted area.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that's been searching for a center for a while, and but it's a team that usually plays Sacramento pretty tough. You brought up PJ Washington. He lit the Kings up and had a career high against them.
What do you have, like 42 that time or something like that?
He had a lot. I just remember it was like that. It was like a Derek Smith moment where you're waiting for them to trade like De'Aaron Fox for him. Like you just trade everyone for PJ Washington. Yeah, so he's good and he's played them tough. I'll also say this, like Fox, him and Dennis Smith Jr. are part of the same draft class. And Dennis Smith Jr. has got the best of Fox a couple of times. And that's going to be one where, this will be sort of one of those first few tests of which De'Aaron Fox shows up. Like when it's up against an opponent that isn't in your same like zip code, like how do you handle yourself? And we've seen Fox play well against Dame. We've seen him play well against like Reggie Jackson. I don't think anyone could have stopped Steph, so I'm just going to throw that one out the window. But even Ja, I thought he played really well against Ja. He played really well against the Miami Heat. What does he do when the competition level is different? And this is one of those things where if he steps up and is a player that he can be and has shown to be even this season, then the Kings will win. If he doesn't, then they're going to struggle. And that's something that I think that as much as anything, he needs to wear this season in particular, that it's every game. There are no more TJ McConnell moments where he just takes you to the woodshed. That doesn't work this year.
Dennis Smith Jr., ironically enough, has actually played pretty well to start the season. Like I've always been a fan of his game. Whether or not he understood what he needed to do in this league, that was always something else. But he's actually started the season off playing pretty well for Charlotte. So it'll be a good, everything that you just mentioned as well, James. It'll be a good matchup for De'Aaron. One of the things that I look at when they play Charlotte, and you have a guy like Kelly Oubre Jr., who's a wild card on and off the field or off the court, but he's a guy that can win you a game if you're Charlotte, and a guy that can lose you, can shoot you out of the game as well. if you're the Kings, how do you look at somebody like Kelly Oubre Jr.? Do you like try to make sure he doesn't get going at all, or do you look at it? Is it a situation we look at? We're going to let him do his thing. We're going to make sure we take care of everybody else, the PJ Washingtons, the Dennis Smiths. Like, are you overly concerned about Kelly Oubre? Is what I'm saying essentially.
No, I think specifically with Oubre, if he's hitting his three, then he becomes really, really dangerous. If he's not, then just force him on the perimeter. Don't let him get out in transition. Ease off of him, when he's sitting there outside the three-point line. Make him beat you with a couple of threes. I know he came in last year to a game where it was early in the season, I believe, and he was shooting like something ridiculous, like 11% from three coming in, and he just torched the Kings. And Fox even brought it up. People forget he and Fox and Justin Jackson, and there's a couple other guys, they all played on an AAU team together in Houston when Fox was young. He's a couple of years older than Fox, but they're all friends. He's super close. And, he was like, what are we supposed to do when Kelly, who hasn't hit, anything all season long, walks in and starts burying three after three? I would allow him that opportunity to beat you from three. Because if you let him get downhill on you, he's dangerous. And if you let him get in transition, he's really dangerous. So get back on defense, that's for sure, and make him beat you from the outside.
Well, when you can hit 29-foot threes like Kevin Huerter did regularly in that game against Miami, Kings are going to beat a lot of teams from the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if Huerter starts to heat up, like we've only seen him have one really bad game, right? So like if he can stay hot, I'm not saying 54% hot. That's crazy talk to expect that from anyone. But the biggest thing for me is like I want to see every single game him hit that magic number of 8. He needs 8 attempts from three, and I think he even needs 10 and start getting up into Buddy Hield range. He's that good, and he needs to know he's that good. And we talked about it before the season, and I said if he can shoot 3 more 3-point attempts per game, and if he can get to the line at least 2 to 2.5 times per game, he's going to average 16 to 18 points per game. And that's right where he is right now. And I think the good thing is you still feel like there's so much more. Like we're just like hitting the tip of the iceberg with him. And if he
led the team in assist on Saturday. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a great passer. Like he's, again, in the starting lineup as a secondary playmaker or even as a third playmaker with Sabonis and Fox, then, it works. I'd also like caution that because if Sabonis is in the game, then we see a totally different outcome. And I think Fox even didn't put up big assist numbers. I also felt like a lot of the passes Fox made were really good passes, and guys brick shots. They missed open shots. He should have had, 3 or 4 extra assists in that game. But this is a game, like, again, you can't look past a team like Charlotte. You're a team that has fought really good 4 out of 5 games. You could even say 5 out of 5. I don't think that they embarrass themselves against Memphis. But you get to some games where you have an opportunity to win. This might be the first game out. I think they were favored in the opener, but this is probably going to be the first game that they're either, favored by a point or like an even split.
Somebody said earlier it was Kings -3.
Yeah. Okay. So they're favored by 3.
But I know somebody in the chat had mentioned that.
That makes sense. So, but this will be like the first game since the opener that you can say that. And that's really tough being on the road. That means the home team always gets a +3. So that means that they think that the Kings are 6 points better. And that's pretty crazy to me. But either way, I mean, I think that this is an opportunity. And when you drop 4 straight to open the season, this is not a team that can waste opportunities. They have to take care of business here. They have to fight the good fight against Miami on, Wednesday? And then they need to look at Orlando as another team that hasn't figured out how to win yet. And they need to go in and get a road win there, especially when you see Golden State, on Sunday. or Monday. So yeah, I mean, these are games where, Mike Brown has them ready, but you can't look past these guys.
Yeah. One of the things that we talked about earlier, James, was the bench and the production of the bench, and what do we feel like they need from the bench to win? So, for instance, in the Heat game, it was Trey Lyles coming off the bench with 10 points. Nobody else really did much else. Malik Monk, 6 points. I agree with you. I liked his playmaking ability in that game as well, even though if the scoring numbers weren't up. But because the starters were able to all be close to 20 points, except for maybe Harrison Barnes, who had 20 points or more, is that kind of the formula where they just need maybe one guy from the bench to show up in the scoring department, or should they not rely on the starters all being close to 20 and they need maybe two guys from the bench to show up?
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think you're going to have a lot of games where Sabonis plays like 22 minutes, 23 minutes.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, Sabonis would have gone for 30 at least in that game. I mean, he was rolling when they took him out of the game with the foul issues. Look, I think that this season is going to be weird in that, especially until Mike really gets a handle on his group, he needs that starting rotation to play 36 to 38 minutes a night unless they're playing back-to-backs. If you're playing back-to-backs, and I get it, cut these guys back a little bit, but when you're playing every other day, man, put these guys out there for 30, 36, 38, 40 if you have to, especially young legs, Fox, Keegan, Herder, all of them, super young legs. Run them out there and see if you can pick up some wins here. And that's what it's got to be about. They've got to focus on being as tight as possible. If the bench can give you 30 points in a night, that's great. If they can give you 40 and pick you up one or two nights, that's fine. But let guys like Trey Lyles do what they should do, which is score like 8 to 10 points per game. If he gets up to like 14, that's fine. But he's not being asked to do that. I would expect Monk to be more in the 13 to 15 point per game range. And then again, if you look at the way the scoring's gone so far this season, we talked about this a couple of times before. Like, who would be the Kings' third leading scorer, assuming that, Fox is going to be here and Sabonis is going to be around 20. Well, Sabonis is a fourth leading scorer right now. He hasn't had a big scoring outbreak game, and that's coming. Like, he's going to start scoring and going to be a reliable scorer for you. So once that happens, like, I really do think it falls into place with guys like Herder and guys like Keegan Murray being extremely valuable pieces that can get you quite a bit of points.
James, one of my favorite stats, or perhaps my absolute favorite stat for the Sacramento Kings right now, is their assist total. They're averaging 27.4 assists per game. That's good for 8th in the league. Interestingly enough, the Charlotte Hornets, their opponent, coming up in just a couple of minutes, they're averaging 28 assists per game. Good for 6. Is that a number you think, by the way this offense is constructed, is that a number that you think could be in that vicinity of 27, 28 assists a game for the season?
Yeah, I think so. And I'd even point to, like, assists per game is one way to measure it. Like, assist percentage is an easier way because it bases it off of basically like 100% possessions, right? And it strips away the pace, like, because you can play a really good game and have 20 assists because there weren't that many possessions, right? So assist percentage, the Kings right now are they are 6th in the NBA at 65.9. They're right behind the Golden State Warriors. The Spurs are still leading the league. So that's one number I would point to. So I think that's huge, and I would keep circling back to that. I think that's tremendous. And then
I'm sorry, real quick, hit me again. What is that means the amount of field goals they score that are assisted?
Yeah, it's the percentage of field goals basically that they that are assisted, and that's and I think it's based off of possessions. So I'll get deeper into that stat for you guys for next time. The other stat I would point to is something we talked about coming into the year, where the Kings' defense is better right now, but a lot of their defense being better is based off of their defensive rebounding stat, which right now they're second in the league in defensive rebound percentage. And so what I mean is, like, you can look at a raw number and say the Kings are averaging 45 defensive, more like 38 defensive rebounds per game, right? But that puts him at like 12th. That could be because there just aren't that many rebound possessions, or there are not that many rebound opportunities for them. There could be either a bunch of made shots, or there could be, there are other reasons why there are fewer defensive rebounds, like just a raw number. So right now the Kings are second in the league in defensive rebound percentage, and it's crazy. Their stats are really good. They're right there with the Toronto Raptors. That shows you that their system is working, and that's why you keep seeing Mike Brown say, we're going like this, whether you guys see it or not, we're starting to climb. You're just not quite seeing it yet. And I agree with him. You start seeing some of the raw numbers that they can really change and impact the game the right way. They're doing good things. The fact that De'Aaron Fox had 13 rebounds is crazy. But if you look at some of the other guys who didn't have rebounds, like Fox stepped up and got a bunch of boards. That's great. But it was because Sabonis only played a handful of minutes. He only had 6 rebounds. Yeah. So, there are other guys that have to step up in that. Even Keegan Murray, he's only averaging 4 rebounds a game right now. Like, there will come a point where Keegan Murray takes that number and blows it away. I mean, he should be up around 7 rebounds a game by the end of the season. And we just haven't quite seen that be something that's really high on his priority list. Plus, I think part of it's because he's playing above the break a lot of the time, and so he's not a guy who's crashing for rebounds.
Just having fun with this here, James. We come in tomorrow. We talk to you on Wednesday. Maybe the 6 things after the game. The Kings win. How do they win tonight?
How do they win tonight? I think they win tonight by not letting any single player have a career night. And it's something that against Charlotte that they've had become an issue time and time again, where it's someone random that just torches you, whether it's Oubre, whether it's PJ Washington, whoever it might be. You can't let Terry Rozier go crazy if he's playing. I haven't looked.
Yeah, I think he's out today, by the way.
Yeah. You can't have Dennis Smith Jr. go for a career high.
James,
like those are. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is he even playing? I don't know what's happening there.
He played on Saturday, so yeah.
Well, he's a bit of a train wreck himself, so I'm hoping that situation figures itself out. They have a lot of internal crazy, wild stuff going on. So, it's a different team than it was last year, and they're a bit beat up. You got to take advantage. You can't look past anybody in this league, especially when you're 1-4, and the Kings should not be a team that's looking past anybody.
I'm gonna go a different direction. Kings were so good from 3 on Saturday. They just gonna keep shooting 45% from 3? Because if they don't, my thought is give me 55 plus in the paint. Give me 55 plus in the paint, and they beat the Charlotte Hornets. Because if that 3-point percentage comes back down to earth a little bit, that's all right. That's all right. You got those points around the basket to make up for it. Assuming, of course, Sabonis doesn't foul out by the third quarter.
The 3rd minute of the game.
Or that, yeah.
I like that. I like that. I'm going with the Kentucky connection. I think they're gonna ball out tonight. I think Fox will ball out tonight and help them get to a win.
Well, I mean, this is they got a good shot here. This is what you're hoping.
Feels like a Malik Monk night. Oh, Malik Monk revenge game.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, aha.
We didn't forget Jordan smacking him in the back of the head.
This could also be one of those Rashawn Holmes showcase games.
That's one of the funniest clips of all time.
Yeah, him getting smacked.
Oh, that's tremendous. I mean, it's funny to us. I doubt that it's funny to Malik Monk. We've been trying to put Rashawn Holmes on the Charlotte Hornets for like a year now. I'm not.
It's more like 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 years.
It's more. It's
fair
more
enough.
Than that. Yeah.
Well, let's go watch Kings basketball, man. Lock into James Ham on Twitter. Follow along with the game. Get those 6 things after. Subscribe to the Kings Beat. Kings Beat YouTube channel. Lots of people watching on YouTube. Appreciate you for being with us. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up before you go. And no matter what happens tonight, we'll be back to cover it all tomorrow at noon here on Sacramento Sports Leader, ESPN 1320.
Let's go Kings. More bars coming tomorrow.
Clear. Guys, hit the I know everyone's going to watch the game. Please hit the thumbs up before you go. And if you're not a subscriber, become one. I promise you'll like us. You will like us.
You're like Damien. I don't know if you're like me. I laugh too much.
I just don't like your laugh.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Your laugh is it's a hindrance to the show. Okay, we're gonna shut down. We'll turn everything off so everyone can get in front of their TV and watch the game. Enjoy it, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.